Good morning.
Be halted. The 2-year agreement was made with the South African Municipal Workers Union. The letter further reveals the city owes creditors 25.2 billion rand while holding reserves of just 3.9 billion rand. Morero has confirmed receiving the letter last week and says he has already engaged with the minister on the issues raised. He has now requested a follow-up meeting with a date still to be confirmed. The mayor says the city is confident it will respond adequately and remains committed to transparency, accountability, and sound financial management. Eyewitness News.
The Public Service Commission has recommended that Social Development Minister Sisisi Tolashe discipline her special advisor Ngwako Khatla for his role in manipulating the CV of a relative to be employed as the minister's private secretary. While Lesedi Mabilecha resigned last year in the wake of the storm that erupted from her appointment, the PSC said efforts should also be paid to recover the salary paid to her. Presenting the findings of an investigation into the appointment to Parliament's Portfolio Committee yesterday, PSC Chairperson Somadeta Fikeni said that it was an indictment on the department that a college graduate could be parachuted into such a senior role. Lindsay Dentlinka reports.
While several of those involved in the irregular appointment of Minister Sisisi Tolashe's former private secretary have resigned, PSC Chairman Somadota Fikeni says the state should develop a register to report those who evade consequence management. The PSC says ordinarily Lesedi Mabilecha should have been charged for fraud for lying about her competencies.
This idea of people resigning when findings are imminent should not become an escape clause for accountability.
Fikeni also delivered a scathing assessment of the Human Resources Division within Tolashe's department, with at least 2 officials implicated in the irregular appointment.
Once the HR of a department is implicated, it often is an indication of a bigger problem, which is systemic.
The PSC has reminded the committee that its recommendations are binding. Tolashe has until next week to respond to the PSC on its findings. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
People in flooded parts of the Eastern Cape are hoping that it will stop raining so they can clean up their flooded homes. There's been more heavy rain overnight with concerns of more flooding. People have been evacuated from their homes in Valma, Gqeberha, and hundreds of residents in Mission Vale have been accommodated at a local school. Disaster relief group Gift of the Givers has distributed food, blankets and other essentials. Mongezi Koko reports from the Eastern Cape.
The province remains under an orange level 8 warning for disruptive rain, with the risk of flooding and danger to life still high. Gift of the Givers says its search and rescue teams from other provinces are on standby, ready to be deployed at short notice if conditions worsen. Ali Sable speaks for the organization.
Search and rescue will only kick in if there's missing persons or if there's people being swept away, etc. The warning has gone out. The community are listening to it.
Meanwhile, dozens of schools across the Nelson Mandela Bay Metro have closed as a safety precaution, with residents urged to travel only when necessary. Provincial disaster management teams remain activated as authorities continue to monitor conditions and prepare for any escalation. Mongezi Koko, Eyewitness News, Gqeberha.
And US President Donald Trump believes a deal with Iran is very possible, but he's threatened to again bomb the country if negotiations to end the war in the Gulf fall apart. Despite Trump's optimism, Iran has yet to respond to a new US proposal, with its chief negotiator warning that Washington is seeking to force the Islamic Republic's surrender. Positive signs that the foes could return to the table after weeks of deadlock grew after Trump halted a short-lived military operation to reopen the Strait of Hormuz, citing hopes for a deal. Iran says the U.S. plan and proposal are still under review and that Tehran will communicate its position to mediator Pakistan after finalizing its views. Trump says if Iran agrees to give what has been agreed to, the war would be over, but if not, the bombing would resume at a much higher level and intensity.
They want to make a deal badly, and we'll see if we get there. If we get there, they can't have nuclear weapons. It's very simple, but what's not to submit? So they had a Navy with 159 ships, and now every ship is blown to pieces and lying at the bottom of the water. They had an Air Force, lots of planes, and they don't have any planes. They don't have any anti-aircraft.
Gold is trading at $4,704.03 an ounce. The rand is at 16.39 to the dollar, 22.28 to the pound, 19.25 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $102.17 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've got an accident on the N3 South that happened near Marlborough drivers, causing heavy traffic volumes coming out of the Baklu interchange. Please be on the lookout there. While traveling in the city of Tshwane, we've got delays on the N1 South. This is between Sefako Makgato exit and the Proof Plus interchange.
And in your sport, Kaizer Chiefs held Mamelodi Sundowns 1-1 to leave the Betway Premiership title race wide open. PSG drew with Bayern Munich 1-1, but it was enough to see them through to the Champions League final on a 6-5 aggregate. And Heinrich Klaassen takes the Sunrisers Hyderabad top of the IPL table.
A partly cloudy day in store for Gauteng with isolated showers expected. Johannesburg starting at 4 degrees, peaking at 14. Pretoria 5 and 17. Vereeniging 5 as well, and a high of 14 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour. Joburg Mayor Dada Morero has requested a meeting with Finance Minister Enoch Godongwana after Treasury raised concerns about the city's finances.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
We're calling on Joburg to walk the inner city with us. In 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk. Babize bonke. Enter now on primemediaplus.com.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
8 minutes after 6 o'clock. Welcome to 702 Breakfast on, my goodness, is it already a Thursday? Where did the time go? Thursday, the 7th of May, the year of our Lord, 2026. You're listening to 702 Breakfast. My name indeed is Bongani Bingwa. Looking forward to your company for the next 3 hours. We've got a hot show for you because, my goodness, it's all happening, is it not? EWN has been running a series of stories on Emfuleni. This is the former Vaal Triangle. And they're saying that municipality is no longer just facing issues of service delivery. It is downright collapsing. Businesses are shutting down. Residents are living with sewage running in their living rooms. It is a situation that is no longer sustainable. And if you are living in Emfuleni, I'd love to hear your experiences watching what was once an economic hub just melt down. Remember, this was the heart of Sasolburg, of Isco, right? Remember Isco? This was an economic industrial hub, the Vaal Triangle. Watching it disappear. To the extent that there's any money, it's not going into infrastructure, development, maintenance, or fixing. It's going into paying salaries, things like overtime, or even money spent on suspended officials. Now, if you're a resident of Joburg and you look at all of that and you say, oh, Emfuleni is just too far away, don't be so confident. Because the finance minister has written a scathing letter to our mayor, and it's a worry.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
In that scathing letter, essentially, Finance Minister Enoch Godongwana is telling Dada Morero, stop it. Do you remember in the build-up to when we hosted the G20, there was a 10 billion rand wage agreement agreed, or at least promised, to the municipal workers. 10.3 billion rand. One of the people who's flagged that agreement consistently and for a while is the would-be mayor of Johannesburg, Helen Zille, who has said the reason you're not going to get your potholes, your pipes, or other infrastructure fixed in Johannesburg is because that money is going to salaries. Dada Morero wanted to have a nice G20. He didn't want any disruptions from striking municipal workers who weren't collecting rubbish bins or doing whatever else they needed to do. So he promised them this wage agreement. Treasury has looked at the fundamentals of the city and they're saying, where's the money going to come from? You can barely pay your creditors. You don't have the money to do this. Stop it. The current mayor says, oh, come on. Treasury does this all the time. They engage with municipalities. They engage with mayors. Nothing to see here. We'll speak to the Treasury Department. We'll speak to the Finance Minister. We'll show him our reports. He'll be satisfied. Nothing to see here. No drama. Do you think SAMU is going to take this lying down, the South African Municipal Workers Union, having been promised the money, having seen the pearly gates, having heard the angels sing? Do you think they're going to sit and say, oh, yeah, hey? Yeah, okay, fine. We'll forget about 10.3 billion rand. So if you're a resident of Johannesburg and you think what's happening in Emfuleni couldn't happen to you, think again. And then there's Sisisi Tolashe. You remember about a week ago, we spoke to the chair of the Portfolio Committee on Social Development. And we wanted to know, well, Utini, what is she saying? What say the minister? Right? Or the scandal. Well, it's not just one scandal, is it? Quite a few. And Bridget Masango said, well, you know, it wasn't on the agenda, so we couldn't quite ask her. Give us a week. She'll be back. She'll face the music. Well, never have the violence sounded so sweet for Sisisi Tolashe. She blamed everybody. She even threw her own daughters under the bus. Remember, one of the allegations is around this, they call it a food aid. Rebecca Davis has done stunning work. I wrongly attributed some of her work to the Sunday Times the other day, but it's been the Daily Maverick that has been on this. And one of the stories that came out was there was an employee. This is somebody every minister is allowed to have. This is, call them a domestic worker if food aid isn't a word we are familiar with, but they essentially are fulfilling similar duties. But they're supposed to do so in the minister's official residence. In this case, this young lady was seconded to the minister's private residence in the Eastern Cape. And not only was she seconded there, which she's not supposed to because she's being paid by the department, for the minister's convenience at her official residence. You see how the thinking works? It turned out that this woman was being asked to hand over half of her salary to the minister's daughter. So the minister goes to Parliament yesterday. She says all sorts of things. She says, well, first this woman got sick, and then this woman had to go through traditional training, traditional healing training. So that's why she had to move to East London. And because her daughter was so kind, she thought she could stay with her. But whatever their little arrangements between the two of them are, the minister, doesn't know that. But she's still on the departmental payroll. One of the MPs even says, here is the letter of appointment with the amounts of money. Here is her bank statement as provided to the MP by the lawyer. And here is the money coming in from the department. Here's half of it going to your daughter. The minister says, well, the ethics committee is dealing with that, so I can't answer here. And they let her go. So I want to know from the chair of that portfolio committee what on earth their job then is. If ministers going to come or can come to Parliament and give shoddy answers and get away with it.
You're with Bongani Bingwa.
7:02 weekday mornings, 6 to 9 a.m.
It's 6:15. After all of that, you might have been fooled into thinking I'm alone in the studio. I am not. I have a team of colleagues behind the scenes, producers putting the show together. And of course, my colleagues Amo Ramila and Muteo Horepe. Good morning to you too. I'll start with you, Amo, ladies first.
A very good morning, Bongani. Morning, 7:02 Landers.
And Muteo Horepe, how are you doing this morning?
Morning, Bongs. Feeling good.
Shapa Kosi Shapa!
In high spirits.
Hey! I put that in our group last night. I said, Shapa Kosi Shapa! I went to sleep at halftime.
Really?
Yeah, no. It was at 1-0.
Yeah.
I'd seen enough. And
you're the most trusting sports fan I've ever met.
No, I needed to go to sleep.
No, they've got it under control.
This is not your first time.
I was like, I have it under control. As promised, we are in black and gold this morning. All three of us, who are, of course, Orlando Pirates supporters. We would have preferred a victory, but the draw works nonetheless.
Yeah, no, it's up to us now. The draw is fine.
Yeah. It's up to us. It's up to us. We either have to win this thing or we then just let it go. It's the same for Arsenal. We are going to be facing PSG. I said I don't want Dembele. And who scored yesterday against Bayern? Dembele, but it is what it is. We are here. So a shout out question to you two. And it's got two parts. Firstly, how do you deal with those people who underestimate you? Do you try to earn their respect? Is it possible to earn the respect of somebody who underestimates you? Or do you just keep on doing your own thing and hope that one day they'll recognize you for the amazing wonder that you are? Do you feel the need to prove the people who underestimate you wrong about you? Mutel?
I think in my younger years, I used to do that. Try gain their respect and show them that I can actually do the things that they think I can't do. But now I don't. Doesn't really matter to me. I don't need to prove anything to you, because even though you do earn their respect, they never really let you know anyway. So
yeah. I just keep it moving. I don't have time to please people who undermine me, or because to some extent it's a little bit of a disrespect, right? So if that's the kind of attitude I'm getting from you, I'm just gonna keep it moving.
All right. Here's the reverse of it.
Mm-hmm.
Have you been in a situation where you underestimated somebody?
Yeah.
Or you just didn't think much of them, right? Maybe
Mm-hmm.
their views, their politics, their abilities, whatever it may be, and they do something unexpected that is impressive. Does that change your general picture of who they are, or do you think they were just having a good day?
Oh, it changes. Yeah, it shows that they had something. It changes the way that I see them. It changes the way that I think about them. But I'm not going to say to their faces that, you proved me wrong. I will not do that.
You've just proved Muteo right, though.
I will
Haven't
not
you?
say it to your
Muteo,
face.
do you think, oh, he's just having a good day? I mean, if Trump were to do something impressive, would it change your mind about him? Or do you just think, okay, maybe he had a good day?
Oh, he would have to do something
The sun
impressive.
shines on every dog, eh?
It would have to be really impressive. But yeah, if it does happen, you acknowledge it, I think. You acknowledge it. Unlike Amu, I would tell the person if I didn't rate them, and now that they do something I actually do rate, I think it's quite fair to say, look, you've done well.
I underestimated you and you've proven me wrong.
Just be honest.
Right.
You don't have to be honest like that. You can just say, well done. Or
So I saw something which I thought was absolutely stunning. Marco Rubio is not my favorite politician from the US. I can safely say he's not my least favorite in the US. But he's the Secretary of State, and he was giving the speech about Iran. Now, if you are Gen X, you will remember early 90s hip-hop, right, and rap music. And he drew extensively from early 90s hip-hop. He was quoting people like Ice Cube. I want you to listen to this clip. He was talking about how Iran is being run, its economy is being run. And he quoted, so I'm going to play you the quote that Marco Rubio gives, and directly after, the song from which he draws it. Listen to this.
They should check themselves before they wreck themselves in the direction that they're going.
Where does that come from?
You better check yourself or you wreck yourself.
Right? It's like, what? Marco Rubio, check yourself. This is from 1992, The Predator, Ice Cube. I was like, okay, does that change my mind about Marco Rubio? Later in the same speech, he's talking about the leaders of Iran. He's basically saying these people are mad, these people are insane. And he quotes Muteo, Cypress Hill. Insane in the membrane, insane in the
brain. I would have never paid.
Right? Please listen.
They're insane in the brain.
Right, that's what he says. It is from which song? Insane in the membrane. Insane in the brain. When somebody does something you don't expect of them, maybe because you've underestimated them or you dislike them, does it change your mind about them? And when somebody underestimates you, do you ignore it and carry on your merry way with your business? Or do you try and prove these people are wrong? There's more to come.
Let's walk the talk.
702.
21 after 6. Mateo, you've got a question of your own?
Yeah, I want to know this morning from you and the 702 landers, Bongani, what's that one item you keep misplacing, whether it's your socks, your glasses,
all
those things that you wish had a tracker but don't?
So I have like several lip things now because I can never find them. You know, when your mouth gets dry.
Yeah.
I have several of those. The chamois to wipe the glasses. I always misplace those. I don't know where they are on any good day. Keys, I lose all the time. And I try to have these little systems in place of I put the key there,
Yeah.
and I take the key out and I put...
Still doesn't
misplace
work.
them.
You can't follow a system.
But I'm 4011. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
702.
Weather.
Okay, I was not a part of this conversation, clearly.
Yeah, because
She
I
never
keep
misplaces.
everything. I honestly never, Bongani.
You're
I
one of
keep
those, it was in
everything
my
here.
other bag.
No.
Oh,
No.
all right. What conditions can you expect today? Similar temperatures as yesterday. 14 degrees is your peak in Joburg and Vereeniging, and it's 17 for Pretoria. A partly cloudy day in store for Gauteng. Isolated showers are expected. Cape Town a little higher, peaking at 19 degrees. Bloemfontein 12, Mahikeng and Bombela 16. Durban partly cloudy, but a lovely 25 is your high there. Gqeberha and East London 18 degrees. Kimberley 12.
EWN Traffic.
This EWN Traffic is brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 45142 now, and you could save on your car insurance. If you don't, ask them for 500 Rand. Amo?
Well, Bongani, we've got an accident reported on the N1 South. This is in the Midrand area. It's right near Allendale Road. It's slowing down traffic coming out of Olifantsfontein Road while traveling on the N3 South. Bumper-to-bumper traffic along this route between the Baklu Interchange and Marlborough Drive. We earlier on had an accident. It's been cleared, but roadworks are causing these delays at this moment. So please be on the lookout there. If you're heading towards Bedford View or Germiston, your best route through Tembisa is the R21 South. I'll have more updates if you see anything else, though. We're on X at EWN Traffic.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Things people stress about in traffic. Number 47. Did I turn the iron off? Oh, the inner turmoil. Well, with the Outsurance pointsman on your route, at least the traffic is one less thing to stress about. The Outsurance pointsmen have been easing traffic congestion so we all get to where we need to be quickly and safely for the past 20 years. With Outsurance, you really always get something out. In partnership with 702. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
702.
Add your voice.
Have your say.
Let's walk the talk.
Good morning, Bongani. I'm a resident of Emfuleni. And yeah, it's difficult. It's painful. Difficult is an understatement. It's painful. You go to our towns, leave alone now our townships where we've been neglected for ages. You go to our towns, Vereeniging, Vanderbijl Park. It's difficult to drive in town. It's difficult. There are no services right in town, right in front of the municipal offices. The library next door to the municipal office it's a shamble. Bongani, I don't know, these guys, they just put incompetent people there because they knew each other, they were comrades, and now look where we are now. Look where we are now. Come November, we need to change this. We really need to change it and stop this. Thank you.
If you're a resident of Emfuleni, I've got one message for you and one message only. Register to vote. Get everybody around you to register to vote and send a message that's loud and clear to those who are running your municipality down. Stay listening to us. We'll be speaking to EWN about their stories on what's unfolding there.
Start your day with Bongani Bingwa
on 702. Let's walk the talk.
I mean, here's another example of what's unfolding there. I think it's a story also running in the Sowetan this morning. More than 20 families in Everton are sharing just 2 toilets. 2 toilets. Whilst newly built ablution facilities with more than 24 million rand remain unusable. The Gauteng Human Settlements Department confirmed that it has spent over 24 million rand on 30 toilets, many of which are still not connected to sewer lines. So residents are watching these brand spanking new toilets. I mean, let's not even have the conversation about why we have outdoor toilets to begin with, right? But they're watching these things. There they are, but they're not connected. And 20 families are having to share 2 toilets. And it's not that the toilets are not there. They are brand new, 24 million rand for 30 toilets. We just work that out. That's almost what? That's not very far from R1 million a toilet. Yeah, ne? It was on this day in 2014, South Africa held its 5th democratic general elections since the end of apartheid. It was a major milestone as it marked 20 years since the beginning of democracy. The ANC retained 62% of the vote. The DA stayed the official opposition, and the EFF took part in its first national elections. A French professor, Florent Montaclair, allegedly created a fake international academic award called the Gold Medal of Philology and convinced prominent academics and politicians it was an elaborate it was a legitimate thing. The elaborate hoax included fake universities, websites, and ceremonies, and even someone like Noam Chomsky unknowingly linked to the fabricated award. It lasted more than a decade before it was exposed. And yeah, it's a fascinating story, that. Staying in Everton, this is a good one. 1,200 recipients of the Social Relief of Distress grant, those 350 grants, you know what they did? They've decided to pool their monies, and they've opened a bakery. They're calling the bakery Isinkwa Setu, Our Bread, and it's a Stokvel-style project, and it's creating jobs, and the aim is to reduce poverty. They've got about 8,000 members, and they're being praised for building a sustainable township business, all from their SRD grant. What do you do when someone underestimates you? And on this day in 1955, the inimitable Ray Charles earned his first #1 Billboard R&B hit. Way over town, that's good to me. Oh yeah. Say I got a woman way over town, good to me. Oh yeah. She give me money when I'm in need. Yeah, she's a kind of friend indeed. Yeah, I got a woman way over town. That's good to me.
The newspapers.
Oh, man. That song became a groundbreaking moment in terms of soul music, blending gospel, jazz, and blues influences. And it's been inducted into the Grammy Hall of Fame and named among Rolling Stone's 500 greatest songs of all time. Isn't that amazing? Swisa Zulu,
Hello.
I needed to hear that song.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I needed to hear that because, wow, the news cycle. What are you seeing?
Nothing better, by the way, on my side, Bongani. The government in Singapore is facing backlash after confirming that schools can still cane their students as young as 9 under a new anti-bullying strategy. The education minister says caning will only be used as a last resort for serious misconduct and only after approval from any school principal. And the punishment applies only to boys, with officials arguing that firm consequences help reduce bullying and they teach discipline. But this, of course, has sparked criticism from child rights groups and even the World Health Organization, saying that corporal punishment can cause long-term mental and physical harm.
Yeah, let's bully the bullies, shall we? That's what we'll do. The front page of the Sowetan, this 24 million rand toilet rip-off story that I told you about a little earlier on. The front page of the Business Day, the passing of Ted Turner, the entrepreneur who built a media empire, including CNN, has died at the age of 87.
EWN Business.
Business News. Mateo wants to know that item we keep misplacing, that we wish had some kind of tracker. What prompts that question, Mateo?
Bongani, the National Consumer Commission is looking to disrupt South Africa's illicit economy. Now, the NCC says it will launch the first track and trace system to combat the movement of fake tobacco, alcohol, pharmaceuticals, and other products. A track and trace system monitors the journey of goods through the supply chain by assigning a unique identifier, either a barcode or QR codes to products. Now, this identifier is scanned at key logistics points, including where it's manufactured, the shipping and delivery as well, recording real-time location and status data, which is stored in a centralized system. Now, according to the Business Day, the system is scheduled to be launched between the 2027 and 2028 financial year. South Africa's illicit economy is a rapidly expanding expanding shadow market are estimated to have grown from 5% of GDP 2 decades ago to between 12 and 15% in 2026. Now, this translates to about 800 billion rand. There's also billions lost in revenue. SARS reporting that the illicit economy is costing the state roughly 200 to 300 billion rand in lost tax revenue annually. Now, illicit trade is particularly rife in tobacco, with illegal cigarettes accounting for around 60% of the market, alcohol, textiles, fuel, and other precious metals. Now, the National Consumer Commission system will track products from factory to retail point, enabling rapid recalls of dangerous goods and reducing counterfeit products in the market.
Do they have trackers for the mind?
For
the mind. Where's the rand?
Oh, the rand at this hour taking advantage of the positive news that we're seeing coming out of Islamabad. There could be a possible negotiation between the US and Iran. 16 rand 39 against the US dollar this morning, 19 rand 26 against the euro, and 22 rand 27 cents against the British pound. Price of gold $4,696 an ounce, while platinum is at $2,071. Brent crude a little lower this morning at $102 a barrel. More business after 7.
Time now for your latest Eyewitness News. Let's go straight to Sfisa Zulu at the news desk. What you got?
Thanks, Bongani. Good morning. The Constitutional Court has reserved judgment in a case seeking to have the National Health Insurance Act set aside. The Board of Healthcare Funders and the Western Cape government brought their applications, arguing that both houses of parliament failed to comply with constitutional requirements for meaningful public participation before passing the bill. But Parliament insists proper processes were followed. Demakatso Lishuru has more.
The PHF, whose members stand to be among the most affected if NHI is implemented, as well as the Western Cape government, approached the Apex Court to do away with NHI. The Western Cape government argued it was not given a fair opportunity to extensively conduct hearings and submit its final mandate and report to the NCOP. The Western Cape province is seeking a redo of the public participation process in Gauteng and the Western Cape, while BHF has mounted a broader challenge targeting the process in the National Assembly. It has asked the court to declare the law invalid, arguing lawmakers engaged in a tick-box exercise under the guise of public participation. Parliament has pushed back against this assertion, saying the applicants are simply not happy with the outcome and the case amounts to a backdoor challenge of the substance of the Act rather than its procedure. Demakatso Leshoro, Eyewitness News.
Frontline workers assisting residents affected by storms in the Western Cape have been praised for their dedication despite a tragic loss in the line of duty. Lauren Fredericks from Knysna died yesterday when a tree was uprooted and fell on her parked car. She was a social worker deployed to assess storm damage in the Garden Route town, and Social Development MEC Jaco Lont says Fredericks was on her way to assist residents who had been evacuated due to the severe weather.
Our thoughts are with her family, particularly her young son, friends and colleagues during this difficult time. I further wish to acknowledge all the frontline workers, including DSD staff, who continue to support and assist vulnerable residents during the current adverse weather conditions.
Pressure is mounting for accountability in the George building collapse case where 34 construction workers died. Yesterday marked exactly 2 years since the disaster of the multi-story structure that caved in. Another 28 workers were seriously injured, some permanently, after being trapped beneath thousands of tons of rubble. Investigations by government departments, police, independent engineers and built environment bodies have now been finalized, with most findings pointing to a possible criminal liability on the part of the employer. Ntutuzelo Nene reports.
The NPA says it is still assessing the evidence submitted by police and has not yet taken a decision, citing the complexity of the case. However, Public Works and Infrastructure Minister Dean McPherson has urged the NPA to act fast. He says no one should be above the law, especially people whose actions may have contributed to the disaster.
It was a tragedy that should never have happened, and one that must never be allowed to happen again.
Ndutuzelo Nene, Eyewitness News.
A partly cloudy day in store for Gauteng with showers expected. The temperatures are at lows of 4 and 5 degrees, peaking at highs between 14 and 17 degrees.
And in the traffic, we've got an accident on the N1 South in the Midrand area. It is causing delays just as you approach Allendale Road. Please be on the lookout there. Traveling in Bedford View, we've got delays on the N3 North. This is between the Elands Interchange and Van Buren Road. That's due to a car that is stuck on the road right near the Van Buren Road exit.
The top story, the Constitutional Court has reserved judgments in a case seeking to have the NHI set aside.
Part of the 702 family.
I'm the Woho from Haramkua, so I used to listen to 702 when I was still a little kid in Haramkua, where the studios used to be. So we used to ride up the mountain to go have a look at the studios from outside. Now 40 years later, I get to see the studios inside in Johannesburg.
Welcome to our 702 family. Let's walk the talk.
Let's hear from Shemaine, owner of Vovotello Linwood, why it pays to switch to Outsurance Business Insurance.
I wish we had switched sooner. Not only was it quick and easy, but also gave us more favourable premiums.
For restaurants, pharmacies, and all other businesses. Get a quote today and see why it pays to switch to Outsurance Business Insurance. Visit outsurance.co.za or call 08600 60,000 today. Licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
Hi South Africa, I'm Michael Owen. If you appreciate world-class sport and a great occasion, the Hollywood Bets Durban July is the place to be. The theme for 2026 is Country Allure, which sees the rustic style of the countryside meet the cosmopolitan cool of the city. On Saturday the 4th of July, it all comes together at Hollywood Bets Greyville, Africa's greatest horse racing and social event. I'll see you there.
It's that time of the year. Sore throats, congestion, wet and dry coughs, pain and fever. For trusted relief for you and your family, ask your pharmacist to recommend a winter survival pack from the Adcock Ingram OTC range. With products like Medikil A, Expigen, Corenza Parac, Adconapamol, Dilinct Junior and more, we have you covered this winter. Remember, Adcock Ingram OTC, sponsors of Brave.
Coming up in the next hour, what's the question? And it's brought to you by Outsurance. Up to 3,000 Rand in cash is up for grabs. All you need to do is send us an answer based on anything that piqued your interest in the show, and for that you win 1,000 Rand. Simply WhatsApp us your name and the answer to 072 702 1702. Then later, someone else will ask a question to win 2,000 Rand. Now, you stand a better chance of being selected to give us the answer if you have SMS'd out to Outsurance to get yourself a quote. So what are you waiting for? SMS out to 45142 now, and you could save on your car insurance.
702.
WhatsApp Bongani on 072
702 1702.
Good morning to Bongani Bingwa. Good morning to the 702 landers. I'm sending this VM regarding Emfuleni, the situation in Emfuleni. We all know what ANC touches turns into dust. We all know that. Let's not act surprised. We all know whatever ANC touches turns into dust.
Good morning, Bongani. Sewage. It's not only Emfuleni that's suffering. In Midrand, the main road running along past Vodacom's national head office, Lever Road. The sewage has been running along the gutters and bubbling out of the manholes for months. They come and they fix and they don't fix. It's been going on at least for 3 or 4 months now. So have a good day smelling the sewage. Bye now, Tom.
Hey, Bongles and the team. Today here, home is in the Val. I stayed close off because I work this side, but home is in Val. And it's been a long time coming. I know our street is a lane for trucks and stuff. So this one company offered, because they use this street as lane for trucks and deliveries, they offered to fix the road completely. The Emfuleni municipality was like, no, you don't get to do that. Bring the money to us. We'll do it for you. To this day, we have a terrible road, terrible streets. So yeah, no, we see what's happening. We live it. It sucks. If power is out because of a cable on, God forbid, a Thursday, we will only get electricity back again on a Wednesday afternoon. It's bad. It's bad.
I've got a simple message for you. Coming up, we'll look at another EWN investigation into Emfuleni. It's a very simple one. If you live in Emfuleni, in fact, you live anywhere where you are dissatisfied with service delivery, I want you to make it a point that you're going to get you, your mates, your colleagues, your family, your close buddies. Everyone must register to vote. You don't even have to tell them who to vote for. They must register and show up to vote, because I think it is time that we as South Africans not just call 702 and send voice notes, but actually send a very clear message.
Good morning, 702 Land. Good morning, Bongani and team. Hope everybody is well on this cold morning. I'm one of those people who thrives when people underestimate me. I'm that person. I do my own thing, whether you recognize me or you don't recognize me. I just, stay in my lane, do my own thing, live my own life. And the more you underestimate me is the more you push me to push harder. So, yeah, I'm one of those people. Tsepo from Protein.
We asked a question earlier. What do you do when somebody underestimates you? Do you live your life trying to prove them wrong? Do you go about your merry way? And when you've underestimated somebody and they do well, does that change your mind about them? Or do you think, they're just having a good day?
EWN Sport.
Cindy Paluta, a promise made is a promise kept.
I'm so proud of you guys.
Shapa Kosi Shapa!
And if you don't believe me, you can log on to the live YouTube stream to
Yes.
see that both Bongani and Amo
And
dressed.
Mateo.
Oh, and Mateo.
Yeah,
I
Mateo.
haven't seen Mateo this morning.
Yeah,
Okay,
he's
they're
doing
all
a
dressed in like a gold, yellow. And why is
theme.
that, ladies and gentlemen? Because they underestimated Kaiser Chiefs last night.
I knew you would
and
take it
Kaiser
there.
Chiefs went, we will see that you underestimated us and we will show you on the field. And they held Mamelodi Sundowns to a
Not
1-1
at
draw.
all. Not at all. We were hoping. We were praying for Chiefs to do the things. And they did.
But you were worried, so which means you underestimated
Well,
them,
it
and they
is
came back
Sundowns.
and they showed you. Amakosi holding the leaders last night. So Masandwana now only 3 points ahead of Pirates, but Pirates have a game in hand, which thrills everybody in the studio. They're all nodding, they're all smiling, they're all quietly confident, and it's the hope that kills you. Chiefs open first through Flavio Silva in the 24th minute, and after the break, Brian Leon with the equalizer. What a physical match. That's Okiano.
Yay.
Yo.
I mean, people are being pulled off stretchers.
In the first half, I was like, are we going to have even 5 people playing each other at the end of this? It was really rough. It wasn't, Keanu Cupido leaving the field with what is now suspected fractured collarbone, of all things. Sundowns boss Miguel Cardozo says there's a lot of work to improve the quality of football in South Africa. It's too physical.
Because matches are always emotions, but the emotions should take a direction towards the technical side of the game. Today there was nothing like that on the pitch. It was just fights from the beginning. In Pirates match, fights from the beginning, balls in the air, kicking in the front, kicking players, kicking legs, kicking everything. So I don't think really is the best way to think about the future of the game here.
He's got a point.
Right, so Sundowns' last 3 games are against the Walele Galaxy and Polokwane, while Pirates next play Magesi on Saturday, where a win would put them top of the table on goal difference. Also last night, Arrows scored in the 95th minute to draw with Amazulu 1-1. A 10-man Gallants held 1-1 by TS Galaxy. Richards Bay and Polokwane City was goalless. Skekone beat Chipper 3-1. Defending champions PSG are through to the Champions League final despite a 1-1 draw with Bayern Munich. Dembele had PSG ahead in the opening 3 minutes, while Bayern's goal came late in the 94th. PSG scraping through on a 6-5 aggregate. PSG boss Louis Enrique.
We did it. We are excited. I'm very happy. It was tough from the first minute, but I think we managed the match in the right way. We scored the goal, and it was very important because we keep our calm. And it was tough because Bayern Munich kept the ball, and they are a great side and a lot of quality players.
PSG will meet Arsenal in the final on May the 30th, and at the IPL, Heinrich Klaassen with another match-winning knock. His 69 from 43 saw Sunrisers Hyderabad beat Punjab Kings by 33 runs and the win puts Sunrisers top of the table. Cindy Paluta, Eyewitness News Sport.
The Clement Manyathela Show on 702.
The Clement Manyathela Show is about everything. It's about current affairs, family matters, the work environment, your health and wellness, relationship and sex issues that couples people's face. It's about learning, helping each other, healing, teaching. It's about life in essence. What I like about the 702 family and 702 land is that we are quite intentional about doing life together. We're always pulling through for each other, learning from each other, always teaching each other. We're not scared to disagree, but also we're brave enough to be vulnerable with each other. We just care about each other, and I think that is priceless.
The Clement Manyathela Show, weekdays from 9 to 12 p.m.
Are you ready for the magical Marble Family Fest? It's a luxury playground designed to excite and delight all ages. Food, fun, and rhythm all collide to bring you unforgettable moments for you, your friends, and your family. See what the creators of the luxurious Marble Circus have in store for you this Mother's Day weekend on the 9th and 10th of May at the James and Ethel Gray Park. Get your tickets at magicalmarblefamilyfest.com. Another grand collaboration with Investec in partnership.
Imagine if you could save time like you save money. A second here, a minute there. Type a little faster, walk a little faster. Or you could stop scrolling on the internet. Just think of all the hours you'll save. Now what if you could take all that time and invest it? Watch it grow. Until eventually, one day, you'd have so much time that you wouldn't know what to do with it all. But unfortunately, time doesn't work like that. It can't be stored or banked. And unlike money, you can't make it back. That's why after 50 years of investing, we've learned that time is the greatest gift of all. And the good news is, if you invest early, time gives you money. And then money gives you more time to do whatever you want to do, even if it is scrolling on the internet. Ellen Gray, long-term investing. Ellen Gray is an authorized FSP.
The brainy kids of the Whiz Quiz
on 702.
Hi, Uncle Bongani. My name is Zoe. I go to Buckley Primary School. I'm 12 years old, and I'd like to be an engineer when I grow up. And I'm really excited and nervous to play the Whiz Quiz with you, but I'm really hoping that I win the 10K.
702.
Coming up at 7:15, the big interview.
EWN Traffic.
12 to 7, this EWN Traffic is brought to you by GWM, class-leading vehicles that help you navigate your journey. Amma, what are you seeing at this hour?
Well, Bongani, we've got heavy traffic volumes on the N3 South. This is between the Buccleuch interchange and Marlborough Drive. Earlier on, we had an accident along this route. It's been cleared, but traffic remains slow also because of the roadworks that are taking place along this route. I'm seeing people are using Northway Road to try and avoid the backlog along the N3 South. You can do the same or even use the M1 South towards areas like Melrose as well as Houghton. If you were traveling on the N3 North, we've got heavy traffic volumes towards Van Buren Road. That's due to a car stuck on the road, delays coming out of the Elands interchange, and not far from the Elands turnoff, we've got another accident scene. This one is reported on Heidelberg Road. It happened near the N17 turnoff, so heading towards City Deep could be a bit of a problem this morning for you. Do expect about a 15-minute hold up there. I'll have more coming up. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Ever since fuel went up, you've had to endure a lot. Like helping your mom run errands while she tries to help you with your love life.
Hi, Bo. Kanti, when are you and Sfiso getting married? Pella, I want grandchildren.
Don't let the fuel hike put you under pressure. Get 5,000 Rand towards your fuel when you buy a Haval or P-Series this month. Visit gwm.co.za or your nearest dealer to book a test drive. GWM. Go with more.
You hear that? That's the sound of business execution finally visible. No more chasing people and reports. No more disconnected systems. No more guessing if our business is performing or not. iStratGo connects strategy, people, performance, and day-to-day work into one clear software platform, so leaders can see what's working, what's not, and where to focus. Because when execution is visible, everything runs better. Book a demo on istratgo.com. istratgo.com.
It's another girl!
Families multiply, fees shouldn't. With Ultimate Banking, you get support for every chapter. Get discounted banking for your spouse and give each of your children a head start with a Mega U account. Because as your family grows, your banking should keep up. Apply online. Your story matters. ABSA. Terms and conditions apply. ABSA is an authorized financial services provider.
Who is the whizziest of them all?
It's the Whiz Quiz on 702.
Let's give away some cash, shall we, today? We're playing with 12-year-old Zoe, who goes to Baklu Primary, wants to be an engineer, I'm told, scored full marks in the pre-test round. Zoe, can you do it again?
I hope so.
You hope so? Well, let's find out. KG, start the clock. In which sport are the terms dribble and handball used? Is it cricket or soccer?
Soccer.
Correct. Which utensil has tines? Is it the knife or the fork?
Fork.
Correct. Complete the title of the animated movie Lilo and Who?
Stitch.
Correct. True or false? The word petroleum is shortened to petrol.
True.
Correct. In which city is the famous Times Square?
Pass.
New York City. What color is a Formula One Ferrari?
Red.
Correct. And in which province is the town Paarl, also known as the town with the Afrikaans language monument?
Pass.
Western Cape. In maths, what is 26 minus 13?
Pass.
13. Which African country's capital is called Dakar? Senegal or Egypt? Senegal. Senegal is the correct answer. Not quite as easy a round as your test one, I imagine. Then Zoe, you walk away with 500 Rand.
The Brainy Kids of the Whiz Quiz.
On 702.
Current events, developing stories,
Tough questions.
your voice making a difference.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa.
7 minutes to 7. Onto this now. EWN has been running a series of stories, particularly focused on the Emfuleni municipality. And the picture that's emerging is not just one of poor service delivery, but you could argue collapse entirely. Businesses are shutting down, residents living with sewage running in their living rooms. Millions, of course, are still being spent, but not on fixing the system, investing in infrastructure, rather on salaries, overtime, even payments for suspended officials. Nkosakana Malinga Mnisi is our EWN reporter who's been on the scene. A very good morning to you, Nkosakana. Thank you for talking to us. Just paint us a picture. We know that, for example, Alpha Ramashwana has been to Emfuleni. What did you see when you got there?
A very good morning to you, Bongani, as well as to our listeners, and thank you very much for having me. I could not agree anymore when you speak about it being a state of total collapse. And in fact, we had the opportunity to revisit one particular community, that's the Boitumelo Township, tucked into, the eastern parts, really, or the southern parts, should I say, of Everton. And this is where 4 years ago, EWA had been to that very area. And it's a waterlogged area. It's an area where people should not have been placed in the first place. A development that was put together in the year 1997. And years later, the people there still living in absolute squalor. There was a commitment, and there's been several promises to move the people over the years. But I can tell you, over 100 households having been identified since 2019, only about 30 have been relocated. And we thought it was important just to go back to that very community. And you having a situation where the people are now having to share their houses with dangerous creatures like snakes and crabs, because, Bongani, when the water levels do rise, you've got these creatures then essentially being pushed into their homes. The sewer infrastructure is in absolute tatters in that particular community. And the community was lamenting how they've now started getting ill because they have to deal with feces with their bare hands when this infrastructure does then give in. It's an absolutely devastating situation, Bongani. It should not be happening, especially when you highlight what you do in terms of what the municipality is in fact spending on, where we speak about their spending priorities, things that are enormously questionable. There's now one of the latest scandals pertains to the 16 million rand fleet tender, where we speak about the municipality having spent that amount of money on about 17 vehicles, they cannot account for one. Some were never delivered, and it really raises eyebrows when we really look at the state of Emfuleni. So hence why, as I said, as a follow-up to my colleague Alfara Mushwana's time spent there, we thought it was important to go back because the scandals keep revealing themselves really. And now you've got the municipal manager, April Nduli, who's in court because of issues of the pollution in that particular area. But Bongani, we also then had an opportunity to speak to some of the businesses because we also wanted to paint the picture of how they are buffering against having to run a business in Emfuleni. One particular business we visited is Freedom Paper, a toilet manufacturing company in Vereeniging, owned by Cindy Niblet. She's also involved in the Val Business Corporation, essentially looking after the interests of business in Emfuleni. And I just wanted to take a listen, perhaps, if we can, to what she shared with us as it pertains to what she perceives to be a lack of a political will to turn the tide in Emfuleni. And she speaks about how she's met countless politicians, and to date, things have really not taken a turn for the better. Just take a listen. Her name, as I said, is Cindy Niblet.
Every company owner is facing the same challenges day in and day out, and nothing is being done. We have met with the Ramaphosa's of this world. We have met with the John Steenhuisens of this world. I've sat in meetings with Solium Zamanga and his so-called councillors and I turn around to them and I say to him, please tell me what you've done. You're a call centre. Any councillor here is a call centre. They are not doing their jobs.
Sure. I mean, I spent some of my youth in Emfuleni, the Vaal Triangle, such as it was known. And I remember the heyday of ISCO. I remember the heyday of Sasolburg, for example, or Sasol rather. And this used to be an industrial hub. How are residents feeling about the state of their municipality, their plight in an election year, Ngoskon?
Absolutely, Bongani. As you said, it used to be this area where business, manufacturers could thrive. And I think when you make your way through the municipality, I mean, you're lucky to drive away there with not having lost a tire, for example, but you really get the sense of absolute frustration. And the one particular, elderly lady that we spoke to in Boitumelo, who's been living there again from 1997. And I think this is what was quite interesting, because as you hear from Cindy, there is that sentiment that no political party has the will, has the courage to actually take this fight on. And in fact, what you didn't hear in that particular clip, but she did mention, because her and I had quite a lengthy interview, is that if you intervene, if you are too loud about the troubles of Emfuleni, you are likely to get killed. And hence why we also looked into the case of Basamani Rantsofu, who was assassinated outside a tire shop in Vanderbijl Park back in March. And she was an acting accountant in that municipality. But residents, as I said, that one elderly resident in Boitumelo Township telling us that she's fed up with the ANC government. In fact, she says she has now opted to change tune and go for the DA. She says she's already got her membership card, and she says maybe that party will have more empathy for her and sympathy as it pertains to her being an elderly resident having to live, pardon me, under these dire conditions. But just to briefly mention that the Housing Human Settlements Department and COGTA have since responded to our list of questions. And again, there's those promises. And throughout the course of the day, we'll also be reflecting on some of those.
We have heard a lot of promises as far as these kinds of issues are concerned. Stay listening to 702. EWN Reports will be filled with Ngoskona Malinga Mnisi's reports on the state of the Emfuleni municipality. And whether you're in Johannesburg, Tshwane, Ekurhuleni, wherever you are around the country, this is an election year. Get registered and get everyone around you registered, and let's go vote.
702. Coming up, the big interview.
Did Parliament let Sisisi Tolashe off the hook? And how broke is Johannesburg? All of that to come.
This is EWN.
There's backlash over the finance minister's scathing letter to Joburg about its money issues, and the presidency says xenophobia claims are damaging to the country's reputation. Good morning, I'm Sfiso Zulu. SAMU has rejected National Treasury's move to stop a 10.3 billion rand wage agreement between the Municipal Workers Union and the city of Johannesburg. Finance Minister Enoch Godongwana says the deal was signed unlawfully and is financially unsustainable, warning it could destabilize the metro. In a letter to the city, Treasury has also threatened to withhold up to 8 billion rand. SAMU has accused Godongwana of interfering with collective bargaining and municipal labor relations. Nkosikhona Malingamnisi reports.
Despite dwindling service delivery levels, the city of Johannesburg moved to sign the contentious wage deal with SAMU in November 2025 to increase employee salaries. But this has been met with much disdain by Godongwana, who argues the deal is unsustainable. However, SAMU insists the agreement is legal and the result of a long negotiation process to address historical wage disparities among municipal workers. The union says only a court can set aside a binding agreement. The union further claims Treasury stayed silent when the Democratic Alliance went to court to block the deal and is now repeating arguments already dismissed by the courts. It has accused Treasury of doing political favors for its allies in the DA after the party suffered what it calls both political and legal defeats. Eyewitness News.
While the Public Service Commission chairperson Somadoda Fikeni has sounded the alarm on what he calls a web of deceit within the Social Development Department, ANC MPs have rallied to Minister Sisisi Tolashe's defense, saying the findings are not evidence-based to make a judgment on her fitness to hold office. The PSC has found that Tolashe, special advisor, and her former chief of staff colluded to ensure an unqualified appointment as her private secretary. For her part, Tolashe insists she's not misleading Parliament about any of the controversies surrounding her, including the donation of vehicles to the ANC Women's League that ended up with her children. Lindsay Dentlinker has more.
One by one, ANC MPs closed ranks around Minister Sisisi Tolashe, with MP Stanley Ramayela saying it was not the Parliamentary Committee's job to react to media reports or social media rumours. Despite PSC Chairman Somadoda Fikeni indicating on at least 2 occasions that the findings into irregular appointments within the department was final, Ramayela and MP Thokozile Sokanyile insisted it was premature to draw any conclusion about Tolashe's conduct until she had responded to the report.
We know nowadays social media can make a person to be incapacitated to lead the department.
Meanwhile, another ANC MP, Kereleng Klong, dismissed claims that Tolashe and her daughter had mistreated a housekeeping staffer.
I think this thing is just rumors, Chair.
ANC MPs also said it was not the committee's place to probe the controversial vehicle donation, and it should rather be left to Parliament's Ethics Committee. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
People in flooded parts of the Eastern Cape are hoping that it will stop raining so they can clean up their flooded homes. There has been more heavy rain overnight with concerns of more floodwaters. People have been evacuated from their homes in Walma, Gqeberha, and hundreds of residents in Missionvale have been accommodated at a local school. Disaster relief group Gift of the Givers has distributed food, blankets and other essentials. Mongezi Koko reports from the Eastern Cape.
The province remains under an orange level 8 warning for disruptive rain, with the risk of flooding and danger to life still high. Gift of the Givers says its search and rescue teams from other provinces are on standby, ready to be deployed at short notice if conditions worsen. Ali Sable speaks for the organization.
Search and rescue will only kick in if there's missing persons or if there's people being swept away, etc. The warning has gone out. The community are listening to it.
Meanwhile, dozens of schools across the Nelson Mandela Bay Metro have closed as a safety precaution, with residents urged to travel only when necessary. Provincial disaster management teams remain activated as authorities continue to monitor conditions and prepare for any escalation. Mongezi Koko, Eyewitness News, Gqeberha.
And the presidency says claims of xenophobia in South Africa are harming the country's reputation and are no different to accusations of a white genocide. Presidency spokesperson Vincent Magwenya says while protests are protected under the Constitution, the continent needs a coordinated effort to deal with mass migration. Magwenya briefed media in Cape Town yesterday on President Cyril Ramaphosa's diary and his recent bilateral engagements with regional leaders. Babalondense was at that briefing.
Vincent Magwenya says President Cyril Ramaphosa and his Mozambican counterpart Daniel Chapo want a more coordinated effort to address the issue of mass migration in Africa. Magwenya says both leaders also agree that South Africa is not xenophobic. He says people need to avoid lazy labels about South Africa because it's causing damage.
And so we're going to have to be really careful in how we analyze these issues and we give them a proper characterization. Otherwise, we risk unfairly maligning the country the same way as the country has been maligned over the so-called white genocide. So we need to avoid these lazy labels of incidents.
Magwenya says President Ramaphosa and President Chapo also agreed that you can't deal with immigration issues in isolation to the contributing factors that drive people to leave their countries of birth. Babalondense, Eyewitness News.
Gold is trading at $4,704.03 an ounce. The rand is at 16.39 to the dollar, 22.28 to the pound, 19.25 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $102.17 a barrel.
There's queuing traffic on the M1 South in the Joburg CBD. This is due to a major accident happened right at the double-decker section. It's causing heavy traffic volumes coming out of Car Street. Please be on the lookout there and expect about a 20-minute hold-up. If you are traveling on the Mike 1 North, also do expect heavy traffic volumes between Boysons Road and Empire Road. That's due to peak time delays there.
And in your sport, Kaizer Chiefs held Mamelodi Sundowns 1-1 to leave the Betway Premiership title race wide open. PSG drew with Bayern Munich 1-1, but it was enough to see them through to the Champions League final on a 6-5 aggregate. And Heinrich Klaassen takes the Sunrisers Hyderabad top of the IPL table.
A partly cloudy day in store for Gauteng with isolated showers expected. The temperatures will peak at highs between 14 and 17 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour, SAMU has rejected National Treasury's move to stop a 10.3 billion rand wage agreement between the Municipal Workers Union and the city of Johannesburg.
EWN, in touch, in tune, and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
Joburg is more than just a city. It's an energy that connects us all.
That's what makes this one so special.
In 702, Josie My Josie Walk the Talk, hosted by the city of Johannesburg. Enter now on primemediaplus.com.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
On 702.
Let's walk the talk.
I mean, I suppose it was to be expected. Would you turn down 10.3 billion rand? This wage agreement between municipal workers and the city of Johannesburg. It was inked ahead of the hosting of the G20 summit. The city wanted a seamless summit, and so they promised the workers this money, and now SAMU is warning of strikes if they don't get their money. This, of course, following a letter from Treasury in which the Finance Minister, Enoch Odongwana, has warned the city of Joburg, you don't have the money, bud. Where are you going to get it from? Where are you going to get it from? You can hardly pay your creditors. You're not investing in infrastructure. You're not fixing what exists because the money simply isn't there. For his part, of course, the Joburg mayor, Dada Morero, says, look, calm down. There isn't, he didn't say the words calm down, but he's saying this is typical of the engagement of a finance minister with municipalities, with metros. We've got reports. We can explain ourselves. We can answer the tough questions.
The letter was received by my office last week, and I immediately had a conversation with the minister on Friday last week about the contents of the letter, and we've agreed, therefore, that we will have a formal engagement between ourselves as the city and the Minister of Finance so that we can clear some of the issues that have been raised in the letter, which I suppose the city does have reports to respond to the issues as raised by the minister. And it must also be made clear that the minister has a responsibility to, from time to time, engage with municipalities on particular issues that relates to management of finances in all the municipalities. And I suppose he has written to the city, and the city is duty-bound to give response to the issues as raised by the minister, and will not shy away from articulating on those issues as raised by the minister.
The minister's letter is written to Councillor Morero, and the headline is "The Transgression of the Budget Laws and Associated Regulatory Instruments by the City of Johannesburg Metropolitan Municipality." It talks about revenue collection issues, the overestimation of exchange revenues, over-expenditure, projected revenue improvements not being sustained. There is no money. A person who's been warning about all of that is the DA's mayoral candidate. She would be the next mayor of Johannesburg, Helen Zille. We'll be talking to her in just a minute.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
The other big story we're tracking, of course, is the beleaguered Social Development Minister who appeared before the Portfolio Committee on Social Development. You remember last week we spoke to Bridget Masango, who is the chair of that committee, who said there were questions they simply couldn't put to the minister because they weren't on the agenda for last week's meeting. She promised us in a week we will have asked her the tough questions. I don't know if you saw it, but it felt to me that they let her off the hook with some extraordinary explanations. Remember some of the allegations, including the hiring of a food aide, let's call it a domestic worker, it's a similar function, who is meant for the convenience of the minister in her official residence. This is a woman who was then sent, according to the minister's version, to the Eastern Cape. She lived with her daughter for a time, the minister's daughter, because the minister says this woman got overwhelmed by her responsibilities. She also offered the explanation of somebody who needed to go to traditional healing training. And so out of, I suppose, the goodness of the heart of her daughter, she said, "Oh, you can come and stay with me," whilst she was still receiving a salary from the Department of Social Development, because she's meant to be aiding the minister back either in Cape Town or Pretoria, as the case may be, and then was shown statements, bank statements, in which the money from social development comes in, half of it goes to her daughter. And the minister says, "Oh, I didn't know about that." And it was fine. That was that. We were told she'd face the music, but boy, oh boy, I don't think Sisisi Tolashe has ever heard violins sounding so sweet.
You're with Bongani Bingwa.
702 weekday mornings, 6 to 9 a.m.
Streetlight theft and infrastructure vandalism have surged in Lombardy East, Alexandra and Marlborough, and this has caused prolonged power outages, leaving many areas in darkness. Criminal syndicates are targeting copper cables, transformers and streetlights, often, of course, damaging the infrastructure, says City Power, and they are responding with solar-powered LED street lights. A Mpumalanga mother who thought she was expecting twins was shocked to discover she's been carrying quadruplets. Nomcebo Likuleni gave birth to 2 boys and 2 girls at the Steve Biko Academic Hospital after a high-risk pregnancy. Despite being unemployed and worried about supporting 5 children, she says she's grateful and she believes she'll overcome the challenge. And on this day in 2004, marine biologist Richard Thompson coined the term microplastics in a scientific paper highlighting tiny plastic pollution in the oceans. And Ted Turner, the founder of CNN and the pioneer of 24-hour news television, has died at the age of 87.
702. Up next,
The Big Interview.
EWN Traffic.
This EWN Traffic is brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 451442 now, and you could save on your car insurance. If you don't, ask them for 500 Rand. There's a crash on the M1 South. Amo?
That's correct, Bongani. It's right at the double-decker section. It's causing about a 15-minute hold-up coming out of Empire Road. Please be on the lookout there and approach with care. If you're traveling on the opposite side of this route, the M1 North, we've got delays as well between Boyson's Road and Empire Road. Then in Germiston, queuing traffic on the N3 North between the Elandston and the Van Buren Road exit. That's due to peak time delays. I'll have more coming up. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Outsurance can't improve your golf handicap, but they could improve the car insurance premium you currently pay. Get a quote today, and if Outsurance can't save you money on your car insurance premium, ask for 500 Rand cash. Make that 1,500 Rand if you've been claim-free and with the same insurer for 3 years. Get a quote and get savings or cash. Either way, you win. SMS out to 45142. That's out to 45142. Outsurance. Licensed insurer and FSP. T's and C's online. 702.
The Big Interview
with Bongani Bingwa.
Let's start with this. Is the Portfolio Committee on Social Development letting its beleaguered minister off the hook? Sisisi Tolashe came to Parliament ostensibly to face the music about several scandals that have dogged her department. What did she know and when did she know it? Why did she not declare the luxury vehicles? Did she lie to Parliament? Did she hire a food aide who was then deployed to her private residence and even forced to hand over almost half of her salary? The Daily Maverick, of course, has been conducting a series of investigations, and these are some of the allegations they have published, and she was meant to answer under oath. She either kicked the can down the road yesterday or blamed others, maintaining her innocence. The person who chairs that Portfolio Committee on Social Development that is meant to hold the minister to account is Bridget Masango. You'll remember we spoke to her last week and she said, no, give us some time. We'll ask the tough questions of the minister. Bridget Masango joins us now. A very good morning to you and thank you once again for your time.
Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity and good morning.
Last week you said the minister would face the music, but it seemed to me watching yesterday, you let her off the hook quite easily, in fact.
How did I do that? No, I did not let her off the hook, but I wanted to allow again, because the presentation of the minister was also followed, or in fact it was preceded by the presentation of the PSC, which put and laid bare everything that the Portfolio Committee needed to know about what went down, especially about Ms. Mabilecha's appointment. But we were then asked to hold off on the PSC report because although it was complete, but for courtesy, PSC had extended the time for the minister to respond and to then finalize the presentation. But I did not let her off the hook.
All right. I tell you what, Bridget, let's play a moment from your exchange with the minister in Parliament yesterday, and we can pick it up from there. Have a listen to this moment. Do you remember this?
I want to appeal, Chair, and agree with you. Can't we allow that process to conclude so that we can come back, I don't know when and how, in further interrogation? Because if the member could not wait for this process and thought the matter must be elevated to the ethics, so we must accept that and wait. That's my own take, Chair. I'm not saying...
Bridget Masango, why is the minister telling you what you can and cannot do? Why is she telling you who can and cannot ask her these questions?
She can do that because she also doesn't want to preempt the processes that are not complete. The PSC,
but the processes are parallel.
They are parallel, yes.
So why can't you then conclude your own?
No, I don't have any process to conclude, because I am...
Sorry, my name is Bongani. Bridget Masango, my name is Bongani.
I'm so sorry about that. Bongani, the processes are parallel, but you know that exercising oversight does not mean that we do things ourselves. We are dependent on the organs of state. We are dependent.
It does mean you must ask the questions, surely.
Sure, of course, questions were asked, and the minister was saying, I don't have that information with me at the moment. What she had was what the PSC also presented, and
right,
also
let's start with the cars, because I know the PSC wasn't looking at that.
Yes.
Should she have
Yes.
declared them?
Yes, she should.
Did you put that to her and make that an issue with her, or did you leave it as a party matter within the ANC?
I did, but the actual lying to Parliament aspect of that question is with Parliament, and the members that were asking that question know very well that they've taken it to Ethics Committee, and the Portfolio Committee is assisted by all these organs of state to come to the conclusions of who did what and who didn't do what. And all I was saying, Bongani, is to say, let us wait for the Ethics Committee to do its work.
So let's talk about that so-called food aid, right? Officially, this is an
Yes.
employee of the department and not her personal nanny. She's there for her
Yes.
convenience whilst executing her official duties. The minister denies any knowledge of any arrangement this worker might have had with her daughter, even though this was an official who for a time was still under the payroll of the department. Were you satisfied with that answer?
I was not. I'll tell you why I was not. And I'll tell you why I immediately asked the PSC chairperson to take it on. Because the minister said, even after the letter that was written on the letterhead of the department that she is the head of, it says there in the letter that the salary would be split. And then she came back when the members kept on saying, no, you have to tell us how you don't know what happened, because a letter from your office is already talking about the split. And then she disowned the letter completely.
It's everyone's fault, but not hers. I mean, the DG contract extension, for example, she signed the document, and now, shock, horror, surprise, she's blaming others, including a cabinet colleague. And this, of course, after twice confirming to Parliament that contract indeed had been extended for 5 years when there was a clear instruction it should only be 1 year. You accept that as well?
I do not accept it, and my not accepting it was confirmed by the PSC that said yesterday, whilst the minister does not administratively conduct appointments, but she has to, according to one of the PSA Act rules or whatever, that says, while that is the case, the minister still has to satisfy herself that person has requisite experience and qualifications, because they would be taking quite huge decisions in the department.
Bridget Masang, we're running out of time. Simple question. Did the minister lie to Parliament, in your view?
I believe she did.
Bridget Masango, the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Social Development.
702.
The Big Interview
with Bongani Bingwa.
Don't do it! In a scathing letter, the Finance Minister, Enoch Godongwana, has warned the Joburg Mayor, Dada Morero, to halt a 10.3 billion rand wage agreement with municipal workers because the city simply doesn't have the money. Treasury pointed to a series of violations of legislative and procurement requirements, including things like poor governance and financial management. Our next guest seeks to be the Mayor of Johannesburg and has put it more bluntly: the city is bankrupt, she says. Helen Zille is the DA Joburg mayoral candidate and joins us now. Always a pleasure to have you on the show, Helen. How bad is the mess?
It's a great pleasure. It's extraordinary. I mean, I knew it was bad, but until I saw the Minister of Finance's letter, I didn't know quite how bad. I mean, the city can no longer sustainably provide services. It cannot meet its obligations. It cannot maintain infrastructure or restore financial stability from its own revenue base at all. And it owes creditors 21 billion rand more than it's got. Now, in any context, that has to be bankruptcy. The only reason why Joburg is not liquidated is that there has to be a municipal authority, and normally it would be apply for a bailout like Eskom and all of those other entities that have done that forever. But in this instance, the minister is saying you will not even get your equitable share if you continue with this recklessness and bad financial management.
We're now sitting with the news, as you might have expected. SAMWU, the South African Municipal Workers Union, rejecting that move to stop that 10.3 billion rand wage deal. It's one you have flagged, arguing it diverts money away from infrastructure investment.
It absolutely does. And when you think about it, the 10.3 billion rand is more than the entire annual capital budget of the city of Joburg. And the city hasn't got the money. It owes 21 billion more than it has. So if they're going to pay out another 10.3 billion rand at this stage, where is that money going to come from? Unless the infrastructure maintenance budget is slashed even more. And I don't even think they're going to find the 10.3 billion rand in the money for maintenance because it isn't there. This is the result of cumulative looting, theft, corruption, mismanagement that we've been seeing through the years.
So this isn't just incompetence, it's something worse.
Oh, much worse. I mean, over a long time, the methodologies for corruption and looting leave me dumbstruck, literally dumbstruck, when I find out about them everywhere. It's systemic, it is syndicated, and it is absolutely entrenched. And the voters are going to have to take note of this. They really are going to have to take note of this
Helen Zille,
and ask themselves what they're going to do.
When last we spoke, I said to you, no matter how well-intentioned your return to Johannesburg may be, you would only be but one person. You now say this is all systemic and entrenched over a long period of time. What's your plan to fix it?
Well, my plan to fix it is, number one, to get a good team around me. I'm doing a lot of research at the moment, and I want to thank the very brave people who are letting me know just how bad the corruption is and how and where it manifests. Having that information is a very, very good start because we can walk in with strategies. We focus particularly on the entities because I won't scrap the entities. It's much easier to reform the entities than it is to reform the core administration. I will focus very much on getting expertise into the entities, ensuring that corruption is broken wide open. I'll get forensic auditors in. I'll speak to the Auditor General as a first port of call who can guide me on these issues. And we will also speak very closely to the National Treasury that's been studying the mess in Joburg. And they, I have no doubt, will assist me in getting my hand exactly on the rot and turning it down. But obviously, as you rightly say, I'm only one person. I'm going to have a fantastic team of people who've been doing their work and doing their research, and we will make sure that we expose what is happening and over time fix it.
I mean, if this is stalled or even stopped, I can't imagine SAMWU taking it lying down. We've seen similar action in the city of Tshwane, for example, when Celia Brink was mayor. Can the same thing happen in Joburg? And is Joburg, can Joburg be rescued?
Look, the same thing can happen in Joburg, but the SAMWU must realize, I'm not against SAMWU. I believe workers have the right to unionize and to organize. But if there's no money, there's no money. If the city was a company, it would be in liquidation now. They would be paying the creditors 1 cent in the rand or something else ridiculous. It would be in total liquidation and none of the workers would have any jobs whatsoever. People must understand this. There is no money. And if people want to destroy every job, then that's the way to go about it. The other thing is that when government collapses, like Johannesburg is collapsing, the people who suffer most are the poor. The rich can sink boreholes, they can put solar panels on their roof, they can even remove their own rubbish, they can get their own security. All of that is cushioned for them. But the poor have nothing. They depend on a capable state for water, for electricity, for every single basic services that give them a decent, dignified life.
All right, Helen
and
Zille, we'll have to leave
when
it
the
there.
state collapses, that's the end.
We'll have to leave it there. DA Joburg mayoral candidate Helen Zille.
EWN Business.
Business news. Mateo Khwaripek, Quantum Foods expecting a significant jump in first half earnings.
Yeah, Quantum Foods is projecting a significant jump in first half profits for the 6 months ended in March. Now, the poultry and egg producer expects headline earnings per share for the first half of the year to rise by between 12 and 20% compared to the same period last year. Now, headline earnings per share are a profit measure here in South Africa. The company experienced stronger demand in eggs, poultry, and animal feed. Last time it reported on financials, Quantum said operations in other African countries saw revenue increase by 16.5% to 545 million rand. The company, of course, you'll remember, is still recovering from the outbreak of the bird flu.
President Donald Trump speaking about Operation Epic Fury. Is it going to end or more of it?
Yeah, well, the oil price has gone down significantly as renewed hopes between Iran and the U.S. bring calm to the markets. President Donald Trump saying Operation Epic Fury will be at an end if Iran agrees to give what it has been agreed to. But Trump also said that Iran will be bombed at a much higher level if it doesn't agree to the peace deal. Meanwhile, China has pressed Iran to pursue a diplomatic resolution to the Middle East conflict and refrain from resuming hostilities. So,
wait, didn't Iran have a deal?
2015? They were the one they proposed. Yeah.
I'm just saying. All right, let's talk about those indicators. Where's the oil? Where's the currency?
Well, the oil price has gone down to $101 per barrel, which is quite lower than the 112 we were talking about at the start of the week. The rand so far 16 rand 38 against the US dollar, 19.25 against the euro, and 22 rand 27 cents against the British pound. Price of gold exactly $4,700 an ounce, while platinum is at $2,060. Brent crude a little lower this morning, $101 a barrel. More business after 8.
Wait. We can fix it, says the city of Johannesburg. This Eyewitness News is brought to you by Bathroom Bazaar, pulling the plug on high prices. Effectively, Sfiso Zulu, our MEC says, don't pull the plug.
That's right, Bongani. Dunga has committed to helping the city of Joburg improve its finances after Treasury threatened to withhold funding. Minister Inoko Dongwana has written to Mayor Dada Morero raising concerns about poor revenue collection, over expenditure and failure to pay creditors. Dunga says he will focus on improving financial governance and revenue management to restore stability in the metro. Jabuli Lembata reports.
Finance Minister Inoko Dongwana is writing to the Joburg Mayor Dada Morero for the second time this year, raising the issue that the state of finances in the metro is deteriorating and in turn negatively impacting service delivery and infrastructure maintenance. One of the issues raised by the minister is the city's wage agreement with the Municipal Workers Union of 10.3 billion rand, something Godongwana says the city cannot afford. Gauteng Finance MEC Nkululeko Dunga has noted these concerns, saying it will be a focus under his 100 days program. He adds that he will communicate a clear program of action soon to outline the specifics of restoration efforts. Jabuli Lembata, Eyewitness News.
In the capital, Action SA in Tshwane says the failure by Deputy Mayor Eugene Modise to disclose his financial interests with a company doing business with the municipality did not warrant him losing his job. Modise has been docked his wages for 2 months after not declaring his financial interest with Triarctic Protection Services. The company currently has a multi-million rand tender with the Metro. The sanction has been criticized as a slap on the wrist by opposition parties, but Action SA says it stands by its decision. Tabiso Koba reports.
A report recently tabled during a closed-door council meeting recommended a number of sanctions for Tshwane's deputy mayor and finance MMC, Eugene Modise. It recommended that council issue him a formal warning, a reprimand, a monetary fine, or write to the Gauteng Cocta MEC requesting to suspend or remove Modise from office. Opposition parties wanted Modise to be removed from office. However, the ANC, Action SA, and EFF coalition used its majority in council to vote for him to be docked his salary for 2 months. Action SA caucus spokesperson Henriette Frolick says this was sufficient considering the nature of the offence.
And if there were criminal activity that had been found, then definitely we probably would have supported a motion that this goes to the MEC for suspension or for removal. But considering that the allegations are based on that of non-disclosure, we felt that this was sufficient.
Modise's party, the ANC, did not respond to requests for interviews from EWN. Tabiso Koba, Eyewitness News.
Frontline workers assisting residents affected by the storms in the Western Cape have been praised for their dedication despite a tragic loss in the line of duty. Lauren Fredericks from Knysna died yesterday when a tree was uprooted and fell on her car. She was a social worker deployed to assess storm damage in the Garden Route town. Social Development MEC Jaco Lont says Fredericks was on her way to help residents who have been evacuated due to severe weather.
Our thoughts are with her family, particularly her young son, friends and colleagues during this difficult time. I further wish to acknowledge all the frontline workers, including DSD staff, who continue to support and assist vulnerable residents during the current adverse weather conditions.
And a German tourist has won a payout of more than €900 after he was unable to secure a sun lounger due to other guests reserving them with towels. The man was on holiday in Greece with his family in 2024 and said he spent 20 minutes a day trying to find a sun lounger despite waking up at 6 o'clock in the morning. He then sued his tour operator for allowing the reservation system, arguing the sunbeds were reserved so often they were unusable. Judges at a district court in Hanover ruled in his favor and said the family of 4 were entitled to a larger refund on their package holiday as it had been defective. The man had initially paid more than €7,000 to take his wife and their 2 children on the holiday. A partly cloudy day in store for Gauteng with showers expected today. The temperatures are at lows of 4 and 5 degrees, peaking at highs between 14 and 17.
And in the traffic, we've got delays in 4 ways along Winnie Mandela Drive between Witkoppen Road and the N1 exit. And travelling in Bryanston, an accident reported on the N1 South at Winnie Mandela Drive, delays from Rivonia Road.
The top story this hour, Gauteng Finance MEC Nkululeko Dunga has committed to helping the city of Joburg improve its finances after Treasury threatened to withhold funding.
For mind-blowing bathroom specials, come to Bathroom Bazaar. Tired of seeing that old toilet? Does your basin make you cringe? Get to Bathroom Bazaar right now for 20% off all toilets and basins. Sleek and modern or classic and timeless, Bathroom Bazaar has your style. Now 20% off every toilet and every basin. Visit Bathroom Bazaar in store or online today. That's Pizarre. Come to Bathroom Bazaar. Come to Bathroom Bazaar.
Once upon a weekend on 9 and 10 May, the magical Marble Family Fest arrived at James and Ethel Gray. There's so much to tell you in such little time. We could never list it all, but we'll give it a try. There's fancy food and music, pottery and painting, bead bars and wine bars and jewelry creating, and because we love collaborating, there's a wheel of wonder from Investec joyfully circulating. Caricature artists, storyteller marvelists and gourmet popcorn galore, hair bedazzling, double horse carouseling. Oh, do you want more? Of course, there's the most
Let's hear from Shemaine, owner of Vovotello Linwood, why it pays to switch to Outsurance Business Insurance.
I wish we had switched sooner. Not only was it quick and easy, but also gave us more favourable premiums.
For restaurants, pharmacies, and all other businesses. Get a quote today and see why it pays to switch to Outsurance Business Insurance. Visit outsurance.co.za or call 08600 60,000 today. Licensed insurer and FSP. TCs and information online.
Famous for available staff. Famous for knowledgeable staff. Famous for always helping you with a smile. Now with 10 Chamberlain stores across Gauteng, our expert staff are here to help you with all your hardware needs. Paint, power tools, gardening, pet care and plumbing. Big on stock, strong on service, built on values. Chamberlain, famous for hardware since 1903.
Hey, we weren't quite done with all we had to say about the magical Marble Family Fest this 9 and 10 May. With sports zones and ice cream cones piled higher than you think, terrarium creating, hairstyle decorating, maybe glitter and pink. With spaces for tots, adult bars for shots, and characters to meet, matcha sipping, candle dipping, and pantry as a treat. With magicians and musicians, the biggest family event lineup on display, carnival rides, carousel glides. Oh, and there's even a play. So bring your best, come to the magical Marble Family Fest. Another grand collaboration with Investec in partnership with 947. Whew.
702.
WhatsApp Bongani on 072
702 1702.
Morning, Bongani. Charlotte in Rhodoport. Big ups to the media for all the investigative uncoverings, making politicians to come and answer an account. The minister said this, the act says that let them bite their tongues. Their time swimming in corrupt money is getting short-lived. Thank you so much. And I'm not a DA fan, But the idea of Helen as a mayor is worth a shot because Joburg is a disaster. It's a mess. And ANC has had enough chances to fix it and they've just failed dismally. Thank you.
Apologies. Good morning, Bongani. Good morning, 702. I was saying the letter from the minister should be responded to by every candidate, mayoral candidate of the city of Johannesburg. They have to be given the same opportunity as Helen Zille to respond to it with the same question: how do we intend fixing this? Thank you very much.
Good morning, Bongani. The issue I have with this public sector wage is that people need to be paid. You hire them, you need to pay them. The politicians are not held accountable while bringing the city down to its knees. And when it does that, you blame the workers, the wage bill that is high and all those things. At the same breath, you talk about the poor, that the poor, the people need to eat, people need to pay because they are poor. But at the same time, you say we must do away with their wage. It doesn't make sense. Just deal with the rot, deal with corruption, people will be paid. That wage bill is there for a reason, because somebody needs to get paid. How much are the politicians getting paid for messing up?
Hello, Bongani. So Helen is saying, in other words, that workers must subsidize the corruption and mismanagement of finances, etc. for the time being. When she takes over, in time they'll fix the rest. So workers will need to then subsidize the rot, the corruption for the time being. What else is she doing in trying to fix it? Laying charges, writing to the minister. I don't know. What else has been done? Why should workers subsidize the rot for the time being? Asif from Johannesburg.
I don't know if that's what she's suggesting, but if you want votes, what do? What's the oldest trick in the book? You go to workers and you say, hey, tell you what, we will give you X amount of money. We'll give you an increase. Doesn't matter where the money is going to come from, but we will make sure that you get these increases even if the money isn't there. Then you better vote for us. And I think the point Zille is making is some of the people who have to live with the worst of the service delivery failures are in fact the people who don't even have those jobs, who can't cushion themselves. And that's the point. It's not to say that the workers don't deserve a fair wage. But if you are using the city's money as a political tool to ensure you stay in power and then fail to actually do the job you're supposed to, questions must be asked. I think that's the point of that one as far as Johannesburg is concerned. I have a simple proposal. Wherever you live, whether it's the capital, Joburg, Durban, Nelson Mandela Bay, Cape Town, I don't care. Make sure that you, your spouse, your friends, your family, your colleagues, everyone over whom you have some degree of influence is registered to vote. You don't even have to tell them who to vote for. But for anybody who is dissatisfied with their plight, with the state of affairs in your municipality, you had better make sure you are registered to vote. And I want you to think long and hard about where it is you are going to place your X when you're in that ballot box.
702.
What's the question?
Okay, when you're in the ballot booth. Can't quite go into the ballot box, can you? What's the question is brought to you by Outsurance. A chance for you to win 3,000 Rand in cash. First, 1,000 Rand for the answer, and then a little later, 2,000 Rand if you can give us the question. SMS out to 45142 now, and you could save on your car insurance. If you don't, you can ask Outsurance for 500 Rand. Today's answer comes from Yusuf, who is in Melville, I am told. Yusuf, what's today's answer?
Morning, Bongani. The answer is CNN.
CNN. And tell me, Yusuf, have you got yourself a quote from Outsurance?
Yes, I am.
You biscuit. 1,000 Rand is coming your way, all thanks to Outsurance and 702. Yusuf says the answer is CNN. What's the question? Call us if you know on 011 883 0702.
EWN Sport.
So, promise made is a promise kept. You can check out our YouTube feed. Amo and I are in black and gold, as is Muteo. We promised. We'd obviously hoped for a win, but even the point is good enough. getting some points away from Sundowns is a good deal for all of Soweto.
Yes, so that's...
So we're all in black and gold. I've got friends who are offering me membership forms for the Kaizer Chiefs supporters fans.
Come back. Not there
Calm
yet.
down.
Calm down.
Calm down.
Yes, so because everybody else on the show supports Orlando Pirates, and Kaizer Chiefs held Sundowns last night to a draw. They've left the title race wide open. And I think it'll be a battle to the absolute end after last night's 1-1 draw. Chiefs went into halftime 1-up after Flavio Silva scored in the 24th minute. Leon with the equaliser after the break. Major concern for Sundowns, though, is defender Cupido, who left the field with a suspected fractured collarbone. The result keeping Sundowns 3 points clear of Pirates, who have a game in hand. Also last night, AmaZulu staying fourth after a 1-1 draw with Arrows. AmaZulu 1 point ahead of Skakone, who beat Chippa 3-1. Galants moved off the bottom, but not out the relegation zone after a 1-1 draw with Galaxy. Richards Bay and Polokwane City was goalless. PSG will defend their Champions League title against Arsenal in the final on May the 30th. PSG were held 1-1 by Bayern Munich. Dembele's opener cancelled out by Kane. PSG still scraping through on a 6-5 aggregate. Bayern boss Vincent Kompany.
Many of the things PSG does really well is the pressing, the forwards, attacking space, and I don't think that part of the game plan for them they were able to execute. And then we have to recognize PSG just defended extremely well, and then we have to mention the decisions, of course. It was fine margins. In the end, the game is 1-1, and we have some decisions that we are not happy with, but big respect to PSG and congratulations for reaching the final.
Major thought intrusion. I'm going to take it out of football and talk about love or even romance. Imagine you are with the love of your life. This is the greatest person you've ever been with. And they don't treat you necessarily all that well, or it's a rocky relationship, but you're afraid to let this person go because they're so amazing. They're funny. They're all these, everybody loves them. Remember when PSG all but held Mbappe hostage? You spoke about it. And they just thought they couldn't see a life past Mbappe.
Yeah.
Look at them now in the finals once again as the defending champions.
Right. And Kylian Mbappe's actually made the headlines now because he's at Real Madrid. It's a second successive season where they're not going to get La Liga or, possibly, who knows. And they're definitely not going to get the Champions League. And millions have gone online and they've signed an Mbappe out petition. And this is because he was given last week off with a hamstring injury, and the coach said, well, you can recover. And then he was spotted on a yacht while Real Madrid were playing Espanyol, which is a huge game because Real Madrid are still trying to fight for that La Liga title, although Barca will probably win it this weekend. But they've called for him to be gone. The coach says, look, when you're injured, what you do with your downtime is your downtime. But the fans are like, bad taste.
Sometimes you've got to let that person who's done you bad go and watch somebody else and go, good luck.
It's like Man United and Garnacho. Concerns for the Springboks as they're edging closer to the international season, and Jean Klein has injured his bicep. And at the IPL, Heinrich Klaassen smashing 69 or 43 as Sunrisers beat Punjab by 33 to go top of the table. Cindy Paluta, Eyewitness News Sport.
Weekend Breakfast with Googs Mshungu.
702 Weekend Breakfast is about switching gears after what's usually a very busy week. We keep you informed, we keep you on trend, what's happening, what's new, what's delicious, what's fascinating, and keep you company as you rest at the end of the week. What I love most about the 702 family and 702 land is we're this interesting motley crew of people, this diverse group of people from all over the country, all over the world, and we all come together and it makes for this interesting, fascinating family. And I don't think you can find a more diverse, interested, or more engaged listenership than people who are part of the 702 family and 702 land. And so they listen to us to be their guide to the weekend because they trust Weekend Breakfast.
702 Weekend Breakfast with Googs Mshungu from 6 to 10 a.m.
Are you ready to let go of your ride in the new year? We Buy Cars makes it easy and even enjoyable to part ways with your vehicles. Simply complete their form on webuycars.co.za and they'll handle the rest. Looking to upgrade your car with over 12,000 vehicles for sale? You're certainly spoilt for choice. Visit webuycars.co.za today.
Still shopping around for a saving here and a deal there? Choose Checkers, SA's #1 in value supermarket. And save on Clover Cheddar or Gouda cheese 800 grams, any two for 219 Rand. Nola mayonnaise 500, 750 or 780 grams for 39.99. And Omo Auto liquid detergent 2 litres or capsules 20 pack, any two for 199 Rand. Valid until 10 May, only at Checkers.
Looking to upgrade your office furniture this year? Desk & Chair, the direct office furniture manufacturer, has a deal you don't want to miss. Get 5% cash back towards your existing office furniture with all purchases over 350,000 Rand. Contact Desk & Chair now for more info. Visit our newly renovated showroom in Midrand or shop online at deskandchair.co.za. Desk & Chair. Think, feel, work better. T's and C's apply.
EWN Traffic.
This EWN Traffic is brought to you by the House of Citroen. The all-new Citroen Basalt is here. Book a test drive at citroen.co.za. There are delays on the N1 North. Amo, what's going on?
That's correct, Bongani. Peak time delays between Malibongwe Drive and Winnie Mandela Drive. This is also delays on the N1 South approaching Winnie Mandela Drive. There's an accident that's been reported. It's causing about a 15-minute hold-up. Otherwise, if you're traveling in the Paulsov area, do expect queuing traffic along Witkoppen Road towards Rivonia Road. There's also bumper-to-bumper traffic on the N1 South leaving Midrand towards the Baklu interchange. An accident reported there causing these long delays. If you're traveling in the city of Tshwane, do be on the lookout for some issues along the N1 North. This is between John Foster Drive and Rigel Avenue. There's also queuing traffic in Irene along the intersection of Nelmepius Drive and Main Road. More updates coming up. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
The all-new Citroen Basalt is here with keyless entry, wireless Apple and Android CarPlay. It's made to look good and make life easy. And that 470-litre boot, well, it's ready for every outfit change and then some. The all-new Citroen Basalt Coupe SUV from 354,000 Rand. Register now for the limited launch deal assist of up to 40,000 Rand. Book a test drive today at citroen.co.za. T's and C's apply.
702.
What's the question?
For 2,000 Rand in cash, all thanks to Outsurance. Please tell me what's the question. If today's answer is CNN. Let's go to Anele in 4 ways. Anele, what's the question?
Hi, Bongani. The question is, what is the name of the news channel founded by Ted Turner, who sadly passed away yesterday?
At the age of 87. What an incredible career. What an incredible human being. His politics at times interesting. Anele, you walk away, of course, with 2,000 Rand in cash. All thanks to Outsurance and 702. Love the delight in your voice. Yeah, Ted Turner was the pioneer of the 24-hour news channel, CNN. Really the first major channel to do it, and he was heavily criticized for that, but nonetheless made it a success and what it became today. I'm going to take you back to 1990 in an interview with Larry King, the founder of the CNN channel, Ted Turner, sharing his views on death.
Well, I mean, everybody dies. I mean, it's something that everybody's going to do. What I try and do is, most people, I think, are very fearful of it, very fearful, scared to death of death. And I've tried to not be afraid of it as much as I could, to try and play it down so I don't live in fear all the time. And one thing I kind of came up with was that life is like a grade B movie. You don't want to get up and walk out in the middle of it, but you wouldn't want to sit through it again.
Isn't that an interesting view of life, like a B-grade movie? You wouldn't want to sit through it again, but, you watched it, you experienced it, but you don't want to come back. Would you want to come back to this life? Now, if your car hire company was becoming too expensive, you'd switch, right? So why pay more for car insurance? Switching to Outsurance saved 40-year-old Rafiq an unbelievable 899 Rand on his 2017 Navara 4x4. Get a quote now, and if Outsurance can't save you money, you can ask for 500 Rand or 1,500 Rand if you've been claim-free with the same insurer for 3 years. Do it now. SMS out to 45142. That's out to 45142. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP. T's, C's, and information online.
Hi, this is Teko Modise, Hollywood Bet's brand ambassador. Be a winner who knows when it's time for a timeout and play responsibly. If you or someone you know needs help, call the South African Responsible Gambling Toll-Free Counseling Line on 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. Hollywood Bet supports responsible gambling. No person under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop.
Get you, your friends, and your family together to make magical memories at the Magical Marble Family Fest this 9 and 10 May at James and Ethel Gray Park. So whether you're a mom or a dad, a kid or a grandparent, even toddlers, tweens and teens, the creators of the luxurious Marble Circus have curated something spectacular for each and every one of you at the Magical Marble Family Fest. Get your tickets at magicalmarblefamilyfest.com. Another grand collaboration with Investec in partnership with 947.
702
What's gone viral?
with Kabazela.
Catching up now with the world of viral content. Kabazela.
Good morning to you, Bella.
What's your definition of a true friend?
So my definition would be of a true friend is somebody that I can tell anything to with absolutely no judgment. They may sort of say to me, that was right or wrong, or you should do this, but they're not going to judge me. And I'm absolutely comfortable to tell them anything that goes on in my life. And the reason we're talking about this is because I came across a clip of Jay Shetty and Chris Hemsworth. They were doing a chat together on a podcast. And Jay had asked Chris, how do you define what a real friend is? And I mean, if you think about the friendships that you have in your life, I mean, you may have friends, but are they real friends? Are they true friends? And I remember in Standard 5, Bongles, grade 7 now, we got given a book, a little book that we could go around to friends and teachers, and they could write little messages in. And the one teacher had written something in the book that I never understood until much later in my life. And she said, make new friends, but keep the old. One is silver, the other is gold. And I read that back then, and I was like, what does this mean? Silver, gold. And only much later I realized that the gold, which is the old friends, have proven value and are irreplaceable, where the new ones will be silver, and they sort of bring fresh value to your life. So they're not as valuable as the gold, which I thought was a really, really interesting way to look at your friendships in life. But let's listen to what Chris has to say about defining friendship.
How do you define a real friend?
Someone you can laugh with, and who you can laugh at each other, and it's not offensive, or it can be, and that's okay. Someone you can really push it too far with, and they're going to go, I'll let that one slide, I'll get you next time. A true friend who keeps you humble, I think, keeps you grounded through thick and thin. They're still standing there next to you.
So what would that be for you? What would you define a true friend?
I have a completely different view from you. I think your friends must judge you. Must judge you honestly and fairly, but they will, because we all judge each other. And at times that's exactly what you need. But it's the idea that, for me, a friend has that information that leaves you completely vulnerable and exposed, but won't use it against you. That, for me, is a friend. I think a friend is somebody who is not only there for the hard times. Strangers can do that. But a true friend is there to celebrate your peaks, even when they're in the lowest of their valleys. What's your definition of a friend? Let's talk.
702 Feedback with Rupfiwa Kone.
My definition, somebody who can celebrate your peaks, even when they are in the lowest depths of their valley.
Absolutely, and that is incredible. But for me, Bongani is someone who can be...
That's incredible, yes. My definition.
So my definition of a true friend is someone who can be honest with me fully when I am doing something wrong. They can hold me accountable and say, Rufi, yes, I love you, but here and here and here, you need to go back and reevaluate yourself. And we can still come back after that and be okay with each other. You know?
So your dismissal of my definition was... I'm full of nonsense. What else you got?
Well, Bongani, today's feedback, many listeners from Emfuleni actually reaching out to us, expressing their frustration, saying they are living in poor conditions. And what makes it even worse is that they don't have the funds to either move or do something different. So I would say to that, it's time for them to vote quite clearly.
Yeah. Very simple proposition.
Yeah.
I'm not going to ask anybody, of course I can't, and I don't want to do that. I'm not interested in campaigning for any political party. But if you look around the state of affairs in your town, in your street, in your little community, right? The state of the roads, the state of the water, the infrastructure, the electricity, all of these things.
Tell you exactly.
Get yourself registered. Get your significant other registered. For me, it's a deal breaker, actually. Definition of a true friendship? Somebody who's registered to vote, hey?
That as well.
Get your family, get your colleagues, get everybody around you to register to vote and make sure they'll show up. What they do in that booth, you'll never know. You probably shouldn't know. But we should all vote and make our votes heard and felt in terms of what we think we are living through wherever you are. It's 8 o'clock.
Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa.
This Eyewitness News brought to you by ShopRite. Lower prices you can trust always.
This is EWN.
Opposition parties tear into Joburg's finances following the damning letter, and Fadil Adams arrives in Durban to face criminal charges. Good morning, I'm Sfiso Zulu. Opposition parties in Johannesburg have slammed the municipality following a scathing letter from National Treasury revealing the city's financial troubles. Finance Minister Enoch Godongwana has threatened to withhold grant funding if the metro does not immediately sort out its finances. Godongwana is concerned that the passing of unfunded budget and the persistent non-compliance with accounting standards, as well as failing to address high unauthorized, irregular, fruitless and wasteful expenditure. Tabiso Goba reports.
Earlier this year, the Johannesburg municipality reached a 2-year wage agreement with the SA Municipal Workers Union. The agreement will see the municipality implement across-the-board salary increases for Johannesburg employees, estimated to cost it over 10 billion rand. The letter from National Treasury explicitly states that the municipality cannot afford this. Action SA's Gauteng spokesperson Mongezi Nsebenzo says the municipality must stop making promises it cannot keep.
The city is in serious financial trouble and it cannot afford the promises made to workers under the agreement.
At a media briefing yesterday, DA's mayoral candidate for Johannesburg, Helen Zille, says the letter is a troubling indictment on the city's current leadership.
In all my years in politics, I haven't read a letter quite so forthright and quite so blunt, with such devastating consequences if the actions stipulated in that letter are not taken.
If National Treasury does follow through with its threats to withhold grant funding, the Johannesburg municipality could potentially lose out on about 8 billion rand. Tabiso Goba, Eyewitness News.
The Public Service Commission has recommended that Social Development Minister Sisisi Tolashe discipline her special advisor Ngwako Khatla for his role in manipulating the CV of a relative to be employed as the minister's private secretary. While Lesedi Mabilecha resigned last year in the wake of the storm that erupted from her appointment, the PSC said efforts should also be paid to recover the salary paid to her. Presenting the findings of an investigation into the appointment to Parliament's Portfolio Committee yesterday, PSC chairperson Somadoda Fikeni said it was an indictment on the department that a college graduate could be parachuted into such a senior role. Lindsay Dentlinka reports.
While several of those involved in the irregular appointment of Minister Sisisi Tolashe's former private secretary have resigned, PSC chairman Somadoda Fikeni says the state should develop a register to report those who evade consequence management. The PSC says ordinarily Lesedi Mabelecha should have been charged for fraud for lying about her competencies.
This idea of people resigning when findings are imminent should not become an escape clause for accountability.
Fikeni also delivered a scathing assessment of the Human Resources Division within Tolashe's department, with at least 2 officials implicated in the irregular appointment.
Once the HR of a department is implicated, it often is an indication of a bigger problem, which is systemic.
The PSC has reminded the committee that its recommendations are binding. Tolashe has until next week to respond to the PSC on its findings. Lindsay Dentlinger, Eyewitness News, Parliament.
Member of Parliament Fadil Adams is expected to appear in the Pinetown Magistrates Court in KwaZulu-Natal today. Adams has been charged with fraud in defeating the ends of justice for allegedly interfering with the murder case of ANC councillor Sindiso Magagqa. The National Coloured Congress leader was arrested earlier this week. He was expected to be processed at the Westville prison in KwaZulu-Natal, but officers made a U-turn, citing his own safety as a concern. Nhlanhla Mabaso has more from Durban.
Despite the media and the family of Fadil Adams camping at the Westville police station awaiting for his arrival and processing, police spokesperson Atlanta Mate arrived with a different version. She dropped a bombshell saying the police changed their plans about the destination of the suspect, citing security concerns. Mate says he was taken to another undisclosed police station.
He has been booked in to that local police station. He has been inspected by the receiving officer, where we have made an OB entry. There are no complaints on his side, as well as he is free from any injuries.
She says the large circulation of the information pertaining to him being kept at Westville turned into a security risk. Adams will appear in the Pinetown Magistrates Court in the west of Durban this morning. Nhlanhla Mabaso, Eyewitness News, Durban.
And fears of criminality are keeping some Gqeberha residents in their flooded homes despite evacuation warnings. Floods in parts of the metro have hit the city overnight, with emergency teams moving people to safety. But others are worried that criminals could break into their homes. Mongezi Koko reports from the Eastern Cape.
The province remains under an orange level 8 warning for disruptive rain, with continued downpours raising the risk of further flooding and danger to life. In Woma, where evacuations took place overnight, community leaders say some residents are reluctant to leave their homes, worried they may return to find their belongings gone. Community leader in Woma, Luyolo Magwabe.
There's crime in Woma, high crime, unemployment, which then creates this crime that is happening. So people are fearless as a result of that. People are fearless to leave their homes. Some would rather sleep at home even though there are issues of this nature.
Yesterday, hundreds of displaced residents in Missionvale lined up for food, blankets and basic supplies as cold and wet conditions continue to take a toll. Authorities are urging residents to prioritize their safety as disaster management teams remain on high alert across the province. Mongezi Koko, Eyewitness News, Gqeberha.
Gold's trading at $4,704.03 an ounce. The rand is at 16.39 to the dollar, 22.28 to the pound, 19.25 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $102.17 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've got delays in the city of Tshwane. This is due to an accident reported right near Rigel Avenue. Delays coming out of John Forster Drive. Please be on the lookout there while traveling on the N1 South. Bumper-to-bumper traffic as well between the Proof Plus interchange and Rigel Avenue.
And in your sport, PSG drew with Bayern Munich 1-1, but will meet Arsenal in the Champions League final on May the 30th. Sundowns coach Miguel Cardozo says refs are allowing play to get too physical. His side held 1-1 by Kaizer Chiefs last night. And the Springboks add another forward to their growing list of injured players.
A partly cloudy day in store for Gauteng with isolated showers expected today. The temperatures will peak at highs between 14 and 17 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour. Opposition parties in Johannesburg have slammed the municipality following a scathing letter from National Treasury revealing the city's financial troubles.
EWN, in touch, in tune and independent. For the latest, visit ewn.co.za or download the EWN app.
In the news this week, fuel prices are rising yet again, but there is some relief for ShopRite shoppers. With ShopRite's bulk buying power, they're able to secure stock long before price increases, which means they can keep their prices lower for much longer. So you save on deals like Wheat Bix, 900 grams, for a low 52.99. Recoffee, 750 grams or the 800 gram refill, only 129.99 each. Valid till Sunday, 10 May. Lower prices you can trust. That's why people vote. Oh, shop at ShopRite. Always.
On Sunday, 26 July, 7:02 Jozi My Jozi Walk the Talk unites us all in the iconic Joburg CBD.
7:02
Walk the Talk. Abize bonke. Enter now on primemediaplus.com.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
9 minutes after 8 o'clock. It's been a really, really busy morning. So much on the go this morning. We spoke a little earlier to one of our ace reporters from the EWN team. They've been looking at what's going on in Emfuleni. We spoke to Ngoskona Malinga Mnisi, who told us about homes where sewage flows through living rooms, businesses unable to operate, having to shut down because infrastructure is failing. This used to be an industrial hub. If you remember the heyday of the Vaal, if you remember what Vanderbijl Park and Sasolburg and Vereeniging used to be, please give us a tinkle on 011-883-0702 and tell us what it is you live with now. I remember once being invited to, it was an inauguration of an incumbent mayor, so this was his second term. This was in Vereeniging some years ago. And the chap held this lavish ceremony at the Civic Center in Vereeniging. And I remember as I drove out, it was in the evening, the streetlights weren't working. But he just spent quite a bit of money on the function to celebrate his inauguration. The money is there. It's spent on overtime, paying suspended officials and workers in general. 10.3 billion rand is what Joburg promised SAMWU. Not money to be invested in infrastructure, new infrastructure, or maintaining what we already have. No to pay wages. Of course, nobody in their right mind would say workers mustn't get their money. But do you think they care about SAMWU, or do they think the SAMWU workers would vote for them?
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
Your definition of friendship. That's what Kabazela wants to know. How do you define somebody as a friend? What criteria must they meet? We also spoke, of course, about the passing of, I almost said Jane Fonda, but it's not Jane Fonda who died, but indeed it is her late husband. And I want to read this tribute that she's put up on her Instagram. She says, "My immediate thoughts about Ted. He swept into my life, a gloriously handsome, deeply romantic, swashbuckling pirate, and I've never been the same. He needed me. No one had ever let me know they needed me. And this wasn't your average human being that needed me. This was the creator of CNN and Turner Classic Movies, who had won America's Cup as the world's greatest sailor. He had a big life, a brilliant mind, and a soaring sense of humor. He could also take care of me. That was new as well. To be needed and cared for simultaneously is transformative. Ted Turner helped me believe in myself. He gave me confidence. I think I did the same for him, but that's what women are raised to do. Men like Ted aren't supposed to express need and vulnerability. That was Ted's greatest strength, I believe." What would your ex-boss say about you, hey? Mateo, your definition of friendship?
I think being there when you need it. Being there when you need it. I'm not saying that you must spend time with me all of the time.
Yeah.
But when I need
show
you.
up.
Yeah.
Show up. I hear you.
There's this mug that Palisa, one of our technical producers, has gotten me for my birthday. I think it was in 2024. It has a little quote on it. It says, "A friend is always there at all times." So how I define friendship is exactly according to that. They are there when I'm happy. They are there when I'm going through the pits. They are just there at all times.
For me, not every friend can be there at all times, or at least I don't need that. But one of my clearest signs of friendship is who's there to celebrate your peaks, especially if they are in a valley. Tsepo, you're in Pretoria. You want to talk about Emfuleni. Good morning.
Yeah, Bongani. Quick one, Bongani. You know the money that is spent on the salaries of employees there at Emfuleni, it's really misappropriated in my view, because if for instance there's a cable that needs to be repaired, there's a power outage, somebody must be deployed to fix the cable. A lot of time it is not of city's officials who fix this. I mean, I've seen three incidents where there was a cable that needed to be repaired or connected. And it was about 3 or 4 vehicles from private sector, including the team that was there while we're wearing the uniform that has a branding of the vehicles. You could see these are not all city's officials. Now, question is, why are they paying so much money in the form of, salaries, when actually the work is not done by them?
Yeah.
And that goes for Joburg as well. I mean, a lot of time it's private sector who does the work. But we are told the city has arrangements with the unions for the employees. But what are they doing? What are they doing?
It's a fair question. It's a fair question, Tsepo, in Pretoria. If you understand that sometimes these promises are made in the expectation that the people who get these monies will vote one particular way, do they have to do anything? Joshua, you're in Wynberg.
Yes, Bongani, how are you?
I'm well, Joshua. Go ahead.
Yeah, look, I'm of the belief that the current political party that is at the top, they started in 1994, they started misaligning every system within the government or the departments. From then, because of what they did, a position of an implementation person like a project manager or an engineer, they realize that those are the people that that's the last end of the exit of the money from the department or from the organization. So the politicians, when they come in, they took those very same positions, they put it into one because of what they wanted to eliminate most of the bureaucracy or the system to shorten the lines. So they took those positions and then they ran the whole show. It comes from a top position up there coming down to the implementation. So they destroyed the implementation. That's why the country is just so, there's nothing. The people that are supposed to be doing the implementation or the service delivery are not the right people. They are not the right people. They don't know what to do. I've seen it with the other departments. It happens just because of they're not in the limelight now. It doesn't make it all right. Those departments are rotten, corrupt. They are corrupt. There are certain things that they are doing. Even for a meeting, they will pay a service provider for coming to sit in the meeting over 100,000 for a meeting that will take about 1 hour. So those things are happening. And if we don't correct the real cause of the problem, it's mostly with the political organizations because they are not being the ones who are now being summoned.
All right. Joshua, you're saying essentially the country has been ruined. Is it that bad? Asif, you're in Rudaput, the state of Joburg?
Hello, Bongani. Yes, I think it's in a total mess. It is a shambles. But at the time, and my comment earlier, is that when political parties politic, we need to also apply the same type of questioning to all of them. In terms of the wages of public officials, sure, it's an inflated wage bill, but is it always the right attitude to tackle the man in the street workers to pay immediately workers to take the sacrifice, to take the cut? Or what are the politicians doing in terms
Asif,
of
come out
tackling
with
the
it
corruption
directly.
head-on?
Come out with it directly. What point are you making?
I think we need to stop always at the point of workers to say, workers take the cut, and that's not going to solve the problem, Bongani. The corruption is rife, and that's why we're in this situation. That needs to be tackled head on.
Hold on. Isn't sometimes the promise, and I'm not saying workers don't deserve their due, But isn't the promise to workers sometimes precisely because there's no money for anything else? And so, yes, you've promised the workers something, but there's nothing left in the kitty to do everything else. In other words, should you be making those promises to workers in the first instance? Was the money ever there?
I hear you about the promise, Bongani. But if you're talking to an audience where you're saying that we should cut it, you're also politicking in that way. So I think we need to understand that. You're also talking to an audience where you're saying cut the wage bill.
Well, it's lucky.
So my point exactly is when you ask the question to Helen on what are you going to do, it's not a good enough answer to say I'm gathering good people around me. We're going to really tackle this. How? How are you really going to tackle it? Give us more meat.
Okay, Asif and Rodoput on the state of Johannesburg.
Morning, Bongani. It's Maru here. You know, this is a real sad thing. The city of gold is without gold. Oh, it's bad. But my issue is long after the ANC's term in Johannesburg, we'll still feel the effects of this bankruptcy. I mean, if there isn't money, then why do they give salary increases? And if I'm not mistaken, the same thing happened in Tshwane, where all ANC coalitions are, you know it will be bad.
With the city of Joburg, the corruption has always been there. During the era of Masondo, Pakstau, long before the DA came to power in 2016, ask its employees, they will tell you better. The city should just go to Madlanga. Let the corruption be exposed. Anonymous in Kempton Park.
How's it, Bongani? How's it, 702 fam? It's Stephen here. I would caution Samu and Helen Zille to just calm down a little bit. I'll tell you why. The election in November is going to be all about turnout. And I think nothing would increase sort of ANC turnout more than Helen Zille and the DA being seen to be against workers and against Samu. And if I was Samu, I would say nothing will increase DA turnout more than a big strike that stops services. So if I were an advisor for each side, I would say steady, be very careful what you do next. I'll see you later. Cheers.
Collapse of Emfuleni municipality is solemnly blamed on the ANC leaders, Banyasa Lesufi, Ace Makashule, all of them, even the previous mayor of Emfuleni, all of them. They know what they are doing in the Val. Ask who owns what in the Val within the ANC. Then you will know why the Val municipality is like that.
EWN Traffic.
This EWN Traffic brought to you by Outsurance. SMS out to 45142 now, and you could save on your car insurance. If you don't, ask them for 500 Rand. Amo?
Well, Bongani, we've got delays on the M1 South. In fact, a stop and go between the Baku interchange and the Kilani Bends. This is due to peak time delays. While traveling on the N3 North, delays between the Yelans interchange and Van Buren Road. Roadworks are causing these delays. While traveling towards the CTD, we still have got that accident on Heidelberg Road right near the N17 causing heavy traffic volumes. Please be on the lookout there and avoid, if you can, traveling on the N1 South, queuing traffic towards the Baku interchange. This is just as you come out of Allendale Road. Please try to use the R55 or even the R21 South heading towards areas like Kempton Park. More updates coming up. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
The Outsurance Pointsman can't help with your child's school project, but they can help you get to the stationery shop in time. Seeing them on your route just makes you feel better. The Outsurance Pointsmen have been easing traffic congestion so everyone gets to where they need to be quickly and safely for the past 20 years. With Outsurance, you really always get something out. In proud partnership with 702. Show them some love online using hashtag PointsmanLove. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP.
702. The World View
with Adam Gilchrist.
Let's catch up now with news from elsewhere in the world. Adam Gilchrist, a very good morning to you. Let's start with this Ukrainian-Russian ceasefire. This is, of course, all for VE Day.
Yeah, Ukraine announced their ceasefire and it seems to have held, although in the run-up to it, there were 32 people lost their lives on both sides ahead of that ceasefire. In particular, it was in Ukraine, but also Ukraine launched drones and missiles into Russia too. Russia doing its own truce, although officially it begins tomorrow, because tomorrow is VE Day, Victory in Europe Day, at the end of the Second World War, 81 years since the defeat of Nazi Germany. It is one of those things where, to some extent, the UK and France kind of think that they won it, and Russia absolutely thinks that it won it when it was the Soviet Union, and we don't really sort of get together on it. But Russia has also, we're told, scaled down its parades. While they have got a lot of respect for VE Day in Russia, they are worried about the parades being a potential target given the war with Ukraine. But the importance of VE Day is interesting, because here in the UK, 2/3 of young adults and teenagers have no idea what VE Day is. The vast majority of more mature grown-ups reckon it's a vital cog in the learning process, and it's all about, knowing our history, knowing where we came from, and the Royal British Veterans Enterprise reports a vast gap in public understanding between generations about military service, past and present. Does it matter? Probably, but sometimes difficult to argue, because in this day and age, the sense of history seems to be lost. It's like nothing happened before the internet.
Yes, indeed. The cruise ship, uncertainty for those passengers still stuck on the MV Hondius, or is it Hondius?
That's the one. Yeah. Yeah, and it's, I think, 146 who are still on board. 3 we know have been evacuated to the Netherlands to be in secure hospitals. 1 Dutchman, 1 German, 1 Brit. 1 person we know is in hospital in Switzerland with the virus. We know a couple of other people got off the boat earlier and they are self-isolating. Of course, this was the boat that was going from Argentina to South Africa, then sort of pulled over. Cape Verde wouldn't let it in. The head of the Canary Islands says they don't want it either, but seems to have been overruled by the Spanish government, which after all runs the Canary Islands. And so therefore the MV Hondius, it's thought, will head to the Canaries, and then passengers who don't show symptoms will be carefully sent off on aircraft to their home countries. It's a proper international story, because of course cruise ships, generally speaking, are made up of a lot of people of different nationalities. But there was this weird moment, and it's not completely settled yet, when this ship wasn't allowed to dock anywhere. And you go back to plague ships of the past. I mean, like hundreds of years ago, when plague ships were not allowed to dock anywhere. It's just like, everyone just go and die on board the boat. So for those 150 or so passengers on it originally, they'd have had a few thoughts about that, thinking, are we ever going to get off this ship where this horrible, rare but rat-borne virus is stalking us?
Adam, we're talking about a bogus award as our last story, and I imagine this has nothing to do with FIFA and Infantino, is it?
Well, maybe Gianni Infantino and Donald Trump should listen, after that FIFA Peace Prize. But here we have a French academic under investigation because he invented a kind of Nobel-style prize for himself for philology being the study of language through texts. Professor Florent Monteclair, he was decorated with the Gold Medal of Philology 10 years ago and has won it several times since. And it was held, the special ceremony, at a National Assembly in Paris, but it was all completely made up. The prize was made up. The body that awarded it to him, this International Society of Philology, was also made up by Professor Monteclair, who's now been suspended by the university where he's taught for 20 years, and they're looking to see if any laws have been broken. I'm not sure. Does that break a law to invent something and then give it to yourself? I mean, as the 12 times winner of the 702 Breakfast Worldview Golden News Award, I think it's okay.
Yeah, we'll let you keep it, Adam. Why not? Adam Gilchrist with this morning's Worldview.
EWN Business.
And of course, as the winner of the 702 Breakfast Business. No, let's stop. Mateo Haripe, Shell reporting stronger results.
Yeah, a very big stroke of luck for Shell, a British energy major. Shell on Thursday reporting a stronger than expected first quarter profit as the Iran war sent energy prices soaring. Now, the oil giant posted adjusted earnings of $6.9 billion for the first 3 months of the year. Shell reported adjusted earnings of $5.5 billion the same period last year. Now, in February, you'll remember that the British oil major reported its weakest quarterly profit in nearly 5 years amid a weaker crude price environment. Just 30 days later, at the end of that particular month, the US, of course, bombing Iran, and that, of course, raised oil prices, and that saw Shell garner as much as $6.9 billion US in a matter of months. So they were really at a point of weakness, and because that bombing happened and the Strait of Hormuz was strangled, oil prices going up, and that's turned around their fortunes.
Quantum Foods expecting a significant jump in first half earnings.
Yeah, the company experienced a stronger demand in poultry, eggs, and animal feed. Quantum Foods projecting a significant jump in first half profits for the 6 months ended in March. The poultry and egg producer expects headline earnings per share for the first half of this year to rise by between 12 and 20% compared to the same period last year. Now, headline earnings per share is used as a profit measure here in South Africa. Last time it reported on financials, Quantum said its operations increased by 16.5% to 545 million rand.
Your indicators?
The rand at 16.39 against the US dollar, 19 rand 25 against the euro, and 22 rand 28 cents against the British pound. Price of gold at $4,705 an ounce, while platinum is up 0.5% at $2,073. Brent crude at $101 a barrel. That's your morning business. Stephen Grotes with more this afternoon.
Straight to the news desk we go. Swiso Zulu, what do you have at this hour?
Thanks, Bongani. Good morning. SAMU has rejected National Treasury's move to stop a 10.3 billion rand wage agreement between the Municipal Workers Union and the city of Johannesburg. Finance Minister Enoch Godongwana says the deal was signed unlawfully and is financially unsustainable, warning it could destabilize the metro. In a letter to the city, the Treasury has also threatened to withhold up to 8 billion rand. SAMU has accused Godongwana of interfering with collective bargaining and municipal labor relations. Nkosikona Malingamnisi reports.
Despite dwindling service delivery levels, the city of Johannesburg moved to sign the contentious wage deal with SAMU in November 2025 to increase employee salaries. But this has been met with much disdain by Godongwane, who argues the deal is unsustainable. However, SAMU insists the agreement is legal and the result of a long negotiation process to address historical wage disparities among municipal workers. The union says only a court can set aside a binding agreement. The union further claims Treasury stayed silent when the Democratic Alliance went to court to block the deal and is now repeating arguments already dismissed by the courts. It has accused Treasury of doing political favors for its allies in the DA after the party suffered what it calls both political and legal defeats. Sikona Malingamnisi, Eyewitness News.
Two Mpumalanga police have been arrested for allegedly extorting money from a businessman in Bethal. The sergeant and constable are accused of taking cash from the salon owner who failed to produce a license for his business. It's alleged the officers told the man that they would return for more money. Police spokesperson Mavela Masondo says the salon owner reported them at the local police station.
Acting Provincial Commissioner of the Police in Mpumalanga, Major General Dr. Zef Mkwanazi, has welcomed the arrest. He said that the alleged actions of these members undermine the oath we took to serve and protect the public. The SAPS maintains a zero-tolerance approach to corruption within its ranks.
Gun-Free South Africa is urging the public to participate in the legislative process around new firearms laws. The proliferation of illegal firearms is a major problem in communities across the country. Recently, a parliamentary reply to Police Committee Chair Ian Cameron revealed 153 guns belonging to the SAPS have been recovered from unlawful holders, while 205 were owned by private security companies. Gun-Free Stanley Maposa reminds communities that the Firearms Control Amendment Bill will be tabled this year.
If community members that face these issues on a daily basis do not participate, the danger is that the law will then carry the views of the few that are not directly affected by gun violence daily.
And UK polling stations have opened for local elections set to heap more pressure on beleaguered Labour Prime Minister Keir Starmer. Polls opened this morning across Scotland, England and Wales in the local ballots that are Starmer's biggest electoral test since his July 2024 general election landslide victory ended 14 years of Conservative rule. Opinion polls predict grim results for Labour, which could amplify calls for Starmer to resign or finally face a long-rumoured party leadership challenge. Critics say Starmer has swerved from one policy misstep to another, and he's been embroiled in a scandal over fired U.S. envoy Peter Mendelsohn, a former friend of late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. A partly cloudy day in store for Gauteng with isolated showers expected today. The temperatures will peak at highs between 14 and 17 degrees.
And in the traffic, we've got delays on the N1, both sides of the road between the Baku interchange and Allendale Road. There's also queuing traffic in the city of Tshwane along the N1 North. In fact, an accident right after the Flying Saucer interchange, delays from John Forster Drive.
The top story this hour. SAMU has rejected National Treasury's move to stop a 10.3 billion rand wage agreement between the Municipal Workers Union and the city of Johannesburg.
Clement Manyathela.
Weekday mornings,
9 to 12.
9 to 12.
Clement asked the gentleman in the studio, what is his government's take on reparations, especially to South Africa?
High Commissioner, we are very conscious of what has happened between our countries in the past. The conversations that we have with the South African government at the minute are focused on our modern-day partnerships, focused on how we can continue to invest in South Africa's ambitions across a whole host of areas here in South Africa. And I think we are always conscious, as I say, of how we got to where we are, but we are now focused on looking forward. And that is the conversation we are having with our South African partners now.
So there's never been a conversation, even with your South African counterparts, about the issue of reparations? They've never put it on the table?
Not in my time here.
Anthony Phillipson is the British High Commissioner to the Republic of South Africa.
Clement Manyathela.
9 to 12 on 702.
Work isn't just about what you do, it's about who you're doing it with. Choose a workday experience that sets you up for collaboration, community, and rocket fuel energy. With WeWork, 24/7 access to open plan structures, stylish private offices, and a fully integrated co-working community. Unique workspaces designed for real people with real workdays. Book a free guided tour at WeWork, Rosebank, Sandton, or Cape Town. WeWork.co.za. Made for work, built for business.
Whether it is a CCMA referral, problems with a mechanic, unfair blacklisting, or an uncontested divorce, Clientele Legal offers professional legal services to all South Africans. Our plans are affordable, and you receive up to 745,000 rand worth of legal services per year. We cover civil, criminal, and labor-related matters. Our nationwide legal teams are standing by to support you 24 hours a day. Plus, all plans include a 5,000 rand bail benefit. Join today. SMS LEGAL to 48721. That's legal to 48721. Clientele General is an authorized FSP and licensed non-life insurer. T's and C's online. Standard rates apply.
Hey guys, this is Robert Marawa, Hollywood Bet's brand ambassador. Playing responsibly is part of the winning strategy. Make smart choices and continue to score. If you or someone that you know needs help, call the South African Responsible Gambling Toll-Free Counseling Line on 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp help to 076 675 0710. Hollywood Sportsbook is a licensed betting operator. Hollywood Bet supports responsible gambling. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. Winners know when to stop.
Joburg is more than just a city. It's an energy, a pulse, and a feeling connecting everybody. The heart of Mzansi.
It's Joburg.
In celebration of this, 702 has partnered with Jozi My Jozi, and we're calling on you to walk through the city center with us.
Walk the talk.
In the 702 Jozi My Jozi Walk the Talk. Babize bonke. On Sunday, 26 July, we're going to the iconic Joburg CBD, the home of dream creators and operators, where we dominate and history make. So join us and be a part of something special.
I'm ready to rock this book.
Because when Joburg walks together, extraordinary things happen. Enter now on primemediaplus.com and get ready for 702 Jozi My Jozi Walk the Talk this July, hosted by the city of Johannesburg. Walk with the people, for the people, for our Jozi. Babize bonke. Enter Walk the Talk now on primemediaplus.com.
702.
WhatsApp Bongani on 072
1702.
Yes, morning, Bongos and Jonah. True friendship for me is, that person that can really be truthful with you at all times, that will even give it to you rough, when you're in your lowest, but you're messed up. But you can see through their criticism or their critique of you and the disappointment in you. But they're trying to lift you up in those moments, but they're not going to sugarcoat things. So that for me is a true friend. Is someone that's not going to beat around the bush. As the chap said, you guys understand each other. You can laugh. I have a friend like that I can make in absolutely the most horrible time. I can still crack a joke with him, and that will lift his spirit. Shap shap.
Good morning, Bongani and listeners. This may seem a bit dark, but there's a quick definition between a true friend and a friend. A friend is someone who will help you move. A true friend is someone who will help you move a body. This is Marco.
Good morning, Bongani and Kabazela. I wouldn't know how to define a true friend, but what I consider a true friend in my life, it's those people that I grew up with. From some of them from crash, because those are people who tell me what I want to hear, what I need to hear. Otherwise, everybody else that came much later in life, it's difficult to tell whether they true friends. They might be, but by and large, it's not friendship, it's transactional. There's something to benefit from the friendship either way. But true friendship for me is people that knew me for a very long time.
Morning, Bongani. My definition of a true friend is someone whom I can trust to have my best interest at heart always. So that's someone whom I can trust with my secrets, someone who will hold me accountable, someone who will tell me the truth even if I don't want to hear it, someone who will never use the information they know about me against me, someone who will really be there for me even when I don't know that I needed someone to be with me at that time.
What's your definition of friendship? That's what Kabazela wanted to know a little earlier on. Cindy Paluta, your definition of a friendship? I love that one. He says, a friend is someone who will help you move. A good friend will help you move the body.
There's always there's that meme that is going around and say the true test of friendship and love is the person who lifts you to and from the airport when you're traveling, and that's very, very true. But I believe that friendships are chapters, reasons, seasons. I've said this before. Some people will stay in your life forever. Some people it was a chapter.
Yeah.
And then different friends for different things. So I'm like, oh, I know that this friend will be able to give me advice on this, and this. But I think a true friend is somebody who you can confide in, who doesn't tell anybody else. I don't know if that makes sense, right?
Absolutely.
And how you will work out very quickly if that person is spilling the secrets is I've once said to somebody, let me say, for example, Amo doesn't like the color purple, so la, and I'll talk to them, right? And I'll tell Bongani, like, Amo doesn't like the color purple, but don't tell anybody. She doesn't want anybody to know. And then Bongani, 3 weeks down the line, will say, do you know what I heard? I heard Amo doesn't like purple, forgetting that you are the one that told. So I think friendships are about trust, about confidentiality, and about being allowed to be your authentic self without the person holding it against you. So same thing again. Amo telling me that her husband is terrible, today, and then tomorrow she's like, oh, I love him. I mustn't go, hang on, yesterday you said. It's like understanding that is where you were yesterday.
Yeah.
And now we're moving forward. And when I meet him, being really kind to him as opposed to judging him, which I think is friendship.
EWN Sport.
Now, what might his Bayern teammate say about Harry Kane?
So he's had a great season, and he scored last night in the 95th minute as Bayern beat PSG 1-0. Beat? Cindy, 1-0. You just said 1-0, and then you said beat?
At least I stopped myself, right? So everybody driving in the car, you don't have to look at the radio twice and go, oh, geez, this lady.
Like
But
Dr.
anyway.
Congo. Are you having a Dr. Congo
Do
moment?
you know how many times I've nearly said it since? Bayern Munich held PSG 1-1 last night in the second leg of their Champions League semi-final. It wasn't enough as PSG go through to the final on a 6-5 aggregate to defend their title. PSG boss Louis Enrique.
We did it. We are excited. I'm very happy. It was tough from the first minute, but I think we managed the match in the right way. We scored the goal, and it was very important because we keep our calm. It was tough because Bayern Munich kept the ball, and they are a great side and a lot of quality players.
Any chance PSG might be a little overconfident
No.
on the 30th of May?
No, I think it's going to be an absolutely fantastic contest. PSG
Okay.
against Arsenal in the final on the 30th of May. Where will you be? I hope to be there, just joking. Tonight's second leg of the Europa League semi-final, Nottingham Forest with 1-goal lead over Aston Villa. Braga leads Freiburg by 1. At home, Mamelodi Sundowns came from a goal down to draw with Kaizer Chiefs 1-0 in an extremely physical battle that saw defender Cupido stretch it off with a suspected fractured collarbone after a dangerous challenge with Ndlovu. Chiefs goal from Flavio Silva cancelled out by Leon. Sundowns coach Miguel Cardozo blames the ref for the game getting physical unnecessarily.
And that comes from the beginning of the match, how the match started, how the match was handled, how the match was managed. When you arrive in the end and you try to remember and you see one team that tried to play, another one that tried to avoid the other one to play, using all the strategies that could be used to stop the game, to make falls, to grab, and of course, and then in the end, a lot of emotions on the pitch from the beginning up to the end.
The result keeps the race for the Betway Premiership title wide open as Sundowns are 3 points clear, but Pirates have a game in hand. AmaZulu stayed fourth after a 1-1 draw with Arrows, 1 point ahead of Skokone, who beat Chippa 3-1. Galants drew with Galaxy. That moves them off the bottom of the table, but they're still in the bottom two. 6 weeks to go to the start of the Springbok season. They have another forward on the injury list. Locke Jean Klein hurt his bicep and misses Munster's URC game with Connacht. He's joined Snyman, Etzebeth and Murat on the sidelines. And at the IPL today, the Super Giants against Royal Challengers. Yesterday, Sunrisers Hyderabad went top of the table, beating Punjab Kings by 33 runs, thanks to Klaasen's 69 or 43. Cindy Paluta, Eyewitness News Sports.
Oh, Shane, do you have a sore throat? The Andalex range of lozenges offers 2 options. At the first signs of an irritated, scratchy throat, use Andalex lozenges for dual-action, soothing relief. But for a painful, inflamed throat, use Andalex C lozenges for triple-action, pain relief. Andalex, SA's #1 choice for a sore mouth and throat. Andalex lozenges are available at all leading pharmacies and supermarkets.
Just Andalex it.
Get ready to enjoy double the music, double the fun, and double the festival at the Magical Marble Family Fest this 9 and 10 May at James and Ethel Gray Park, with 2 stages stacked with the country's best performers, Mikasa, DJ Zintle, Good Luck, and so much more. Are you ready to experience what the creators of the luxurious Marble Circus have created as they bring you magic, music, and fun for everyone? Get your tickets at magicmarblefamilyfest.com. Another grand collaboration with Investec in partnership with 947.
For many South Africans living with blood cancer or blood disorders, a stem cell donor is their only hope for a second chance at life. Right now, someone is waiting for a match. This World Blood Cancer Month, be the reason they get another moment, a birthday, and a chance at a full life. Visit dkmsafrica.org and register to become a stem cell donor today.
Sometimes all it takes to reshape the world and deliver better outcomes is a little unconventional thinking. Black Sheep Thinking, powered by Camissa Asset Management.
Polio, as you would know, crippled hundreds of thousands annually before there was a vaccine breakthrough. And eventually, when it came through, you would have expected its inventor to become fabulously wealthy. The patent owner, one Jonas Salk, was asked what he would say about owning the patent of the vaccine. And obviously the question really was all about how much money he was going to make. He was asked who owned patent for the polio vaccine. And he said there is no patent because could you patent the sun? It was something that was a gift for all of humanity.
Black Sheep Thinking, every Tuesday on 702 Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa, powered by Camissa Asset Management. Invest different. Camissa Asset Management is a licensed FSP on 702. EWN Traffic.
12 to 9, let's wrap up the morning's traffic. Amo, what are you seeing at this point?
Well, Bongani, the city of Tshwane traffic is heavily backed up along the N1 North between John Foster Drive and Wrightsville Avenue due to a major accident seen there. There's also queuing traffic reported on the N1 South towards the Prue Plus interchange. That's due to roadworks, and more roadworks are causing delays along the N3 North towards Van Buren Road. I'll have more traffic updates. Stay tuned.
There's more EWN on air, online, and on the EWN app.
Joburg is more than just a city, it's a home for dream creators, operators and change makers. And in celebration of this, 702 has partnered with Josie My Josie to unite the whole of Joburg in the 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk. Babize bonke, Sunday 26 July, we're walking through the iconic Joburg CBD and we want you to join us and be a part of something special. Enter now on primemediaplus.com and get ready for 702 Josie My Josie Walk the Talk. It's hosted by the city of Johannesburg. Walk with the people, for our Josie. Babize bonke, more on primemediaplus.com.
It's 6 a.m. in Kenya. Victor's little sister starts high school today, but her fees need to be paid first. Back in Josie, Victor logs onto the Absa banking app and sends her money and a little extra for lunch. It arrives instantly.
Your money makes their world go round. Send cash to 18 countries across the world with Absa Global Pay. It's safe, instant, and affordable. Your story matters. Absa is an authorized FSP and a registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
Coming up
on the Clement Manyathela Show
on 702.
It's 10 minutes before the start of the Clement Manyathela Show. Clement, a very good morning to you.
Good morning.
Gosh, where do you begin with
Where
the open
do you
line?
begin? I don't know.
So
and
much
literally,
going on.
I just want the listeners to take their pick because there's so much. As we're going to be reflecting on Sisisi Tolashe's appearance in Parliament yesterday. I mean, she has no shame, no accountability whatsoever. Blame everybody else
but me.
Bona,
it's one thing to say, I'm going to blame a cabinet colleague for a document that I signed, whose details I was asked about at least twice, that I confirmed, and then later was surprised to find out about.
Yeah.
It's one thing to do that. It's an entirely different thing to throw your own daughter under the bus.
Yeah, and now I wonder what she's going to do because the Public Service Commission says her own special advisor, remember the advisor whose niece got the job of Chief of Staff when she didn't qualify, and the Daily Maverick has even reported that this advisor
has
is
a
actually
special relationship.
romantically involved. No, let's say it. Romantically involved. And I normally don't care about who sleeps with who. But in this case, if you're a minister and you're busy protecting your lover, that is a problem. And now the PSC says the minister must take action against this alleged lover. And I want to see if she's going to do that.
Messy.
But I mean, it will be messy if the same person who's advising you is the same person who's also implicated in these things. So we're going to reflect on that. And then there is the city of Johannesburg. We'll talk about that as well. And then you've got what's happening in the city of Tshwane. You dock the salary of an MMC for 2 months, but the company that he is linked to has received multi-million rands from the city. He failed to declare that. Is that really true accountability? That's what we'll discuss. And then also on the open line, the issue around News 24. They seem to have been reporting about this textbook scandal. You've seen their reports, right? They revealed it. But it turns out Media 24 may have taken part in that tender unsuccessfully, which is fine. The problem is, did they declare that when they've been reporting about the scandal? If they really tried to get this tender and they didn't get it, they were unsuccessful, they should have also said when they write articles about a company that's been chosen that, oh, actually, we also bid for this tender, but we didn't get it. That's the basic ethical thing you do. I've asked Adrian Basson to come join us on the show. If he comes, I'll ask him that question. But at 10 o'clock, we're going to do our Hanging Out feature. And today, we're going to be hanging out with Maria McCloy. She's a cultural pioneer. She's a publicist for one of the best artists and some of the best brands in this country.
I've known her since the late 90s.
Oh, yeah?
I'm going to send you a voice note.
Please.
May I?
Do that.
Play it.
I'll think about that. I'm joking. I will play it. She's going to be hanging out with us between 10 and 11 o'clock. And then at 11 o'clock, we do our Thursday dialogue. And today I'll bring in different voices to discuss Sisisi Tolashe's appearance in Parliament yesterday and what happens next.
The Clement Manyathela Show between 9 and 12.
The Midday Report with Mandy Wiener.
The Midday Report at its heart is a current affairs show, but it really is a show about everything you need to know about and everything you didn't know you needed to know about. Our listener is sharp, plugged in, curious, has developed opinions, but is still open to learning new things. My favorite part is how witty, sharp, and funny our listener is. What we cover every day is breaking news, current affairs, politics, the courts, global developments, science, education, popular culture, sports, books, and of course, good things too. I like to think of it as a lunchbox with a little bit of everything. What I love about 702 Land is that it is full of energy. There's always something happening, a developing story to follow. But it's not parochial. The 702 family cares about what is happening in the world around them and how we plug into that.
The Midday Report with Mandy Wiener. Weekdays from 12 to 1 p.m.
If your car hire company was becoming too expensive, you'd switch, right? So why pay more for car insurance? Switching to Outsurance saved 40-year-old Rafiq an unbelievable $8.99 on his 2017 Navara 4x4. Get a quote now, and if Outsurance can't save you money, you can ask for 500 Rand or 1,500 Rand if you've been claim-free with the same insurer for 3 years. Do it now. SMS out to 45142. That's out to 45142. Outsurance is a licensed insurer and FSP. T's, C's, and information online.
In unpredictable times, you need a proven approach. Try this. Think of a number between 1 and 10. Add 6. Subtract 3. Now subtract your original number. Got 3? Of course you did, because the method is certain. That's predictability. It's consistent, reassuring. It's our disciplined approach delivering real value for you year after year. That's why PSG is proudly predictable. Visit psg.co.za. Affiliates of PSG Financial Services, a licensed controlling company, are authorized financial services providers.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa
on 702.
Let's walk the talk.
I mean, just listen to this. This weekend at the Market Theatre in Newtown, a deeply personal story will unfold when asking uncomfortable questions about our past and indeed our present. Call of the Revolution's Children runs just from the 8th to the 10th of May. It's a solo theatre production set in Pimville, Soweto. It follows Johnny, a man returning home from a tombstone unveiling of a fallen comrade, and along the way, revisiting a past shaped by protest, politics, and impossible choices. It's a story set in the final years of apartheid, stretching into the early days of democracy. And we are joined now by the writer of the play, Soweto-based playwright Lihlohonolo Shale. Lihlohonolo, welcome to 702 Breakfast, and thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, Bongani. I really appreciate the opportunity you are giving me. Yeah.
No, we are big supporters of the arts, and this story sounds really intriguing. Tell us a little more. Did my introduction have it correct?
Yes, of course. Yeah, no, it's a story of this teenager who is at high school, during the late 80s. Really curious about the goings on. At that time you had your state of emergencies. The country was really in the heat of the struggle. And this young boy is curious of what's going on, but he also wants to participate and make a change in the country. And that's where he meets a mentor, an older boy called Bokang, who mentors him into the struggle. And slowly this young boy gets into the gist of the struggle within the liberation movement.
And of course, as I understand it, the story touches on themes of loyalty, betrayal, and difficult choices. I mean, ultimately, it's an allegory, is it not? Are you then saying, in a sense, the struggle didn't end so cleanly?
Yeah, no, you're correct. In fact, when this young boy gets then too much involved, then he gets into the debate. What really sets the cat among the pigeon is a de Klerk speech of 2nd February 1990 that really makes the liberation movement to be in disarray. Should we negotiate? Should we not negotiate? So these young activists are caught up in that question. And unfortunately, that divides them into two camps. So Johnny, the young person, has to decide between these mentors of his, which direction is he taking?
Is it partly because even though there were already talks behind the scenes, the leaders of various organizations didn't necessarily take their followers along with them when those discussions unfolded, and therefore that's why there was some division about what to do next? The leaders weren't caught flat-footed, but certainly many of the followers were by that speech.
Yeah, of course, you are right. I remember just one exception within that milieu of the liberation movement. Zephaniah Mutupeng, former president of the PAC, when he got invited, he sent that letter to the branches of the organization for members to discuss. So that was very unique, and of course, membership on the ground rejected the talks. What I'm also trying to highlight is that we have this mainstream narrative which says that we had no other options but to compromise, and otherwise it would have been hell in the country. But there were other voices which were marginalized ultimately, who were very critical of the processes as it unfolded. They cried that, some of the fundamental principles of the struggle are being thrown out of the window. And therefore it becomes a hollow victory, if we push this way.
Why should we come and see this play this weekend?
I'm trying also to talk to this current generation of young people. I'm paying tribute to the past generation of the 80s and the early 90s, and of course, who took the baton from the precedents of 1976. What I'm saying is that this generation should understand how the New South Africa came about. So how is the question? Not why are we in the New South Africa?
Yeah.
How did it all come about? What were the building blocks? And many people tend to forget that. And if young people understand how it came about, then going forward in their own struggles, they can then reflect on those young people and improve on those young people. Of course, as a writer, I won't come with a silver bullet to young people today.
Indeed,
that this is the direction you must take.
Precisely because it's such a complex story. It's on at the Market Theatre this weekend, the 8th to the 10th of May. Get your tickets at the Market Theatre box office.
702 podcasts are on 702.co.za.
Time now for the Clement Manyathela Show. I'll see you bright and early tomorrow morning for the Friday edition of 702 Breakfast.
This is EWN.
Good morning, I'm Sfiso Zulu. Member of Parliament Fadil Adams is expected to appear in the Pinetown Magistrates Court in KwaZulu-Natal this morning. Adams has been charged with fraud and defeating the ends of justice for allegedly interfering with the murder case of ANC councillor Sindiso Magaqa. The National Coloured Congress leader was arrested earlier this week in Cape Town. He was expected to be processed at the Westville prison, but officers made a U-turn, citing his own safety as a concern. Nhlanhla Mabaso reports.
Despite the media and the family of Fadil Adams camping at the Westville police station awaiting for his arrival and processing, police spokesperson Atlanta Mate arrived with a different version. She dropped a bombshell saying the police changed their plans about the destination of the suspect, citing security concerns. Mate says he was taken to another undisclosed police station.
He has been booked in to that local police station. He has been inspected by the receiving officer, where we have made an OB entry. There are no complaints on his side, as well as he is free from any injuries.
She says the large circulation of the information pertaining to him being kept at Westville turned into a security risk. Adams will appear in the Pinetown Magistrates Court in the west of Durban this morning. Nhlanhla Mabaso, Eyewitness News, Durban.
3 police officers have been killed in the Eastern Cape in what is believed to be a domestic fight. It's understood a constable shot his ex-girlfriend, who was also an officer, and 2 other colleagues at a house in Karieja. Police spokesperson Nobantu Kantana says a state gun was retrieved from the scene along with 10 live rounds.
Preliminary investigation suggests that a male constable, who was the former boyfriend of a female constable, forced entry into the residence where she and another male constable were present. Witnesses reported hearing shots fired, after which all 3 members sustained fatal injuries.
Opposition parties in Johannesburg have slammed the municipality following a scathing letter from National Treasury revealing the city's financial troubles. Finance Minister Enoch Godongwana has threatened to withhold grant funding if the metro does not immediately sort out its finances. Godongwana is concerned about the passing of an unfunded budget, persistent non-compliance with accounting standards, and failing to address high unauthorized, irregular, fruitless and wasteful expenditure. Tabiso Koba reports.
Earlier this year, the Johannesburg municipality reached a 2-year wage agreement with the SA Municipal Workers Union. The agreement will see the municipality implement across-the-board salary increases for Johannesburg employees, estimated to cost it over 10 billion rand. The letter from National Treasury explicitly states that the municipality cannot afford this. Action SA's Gauteng spokesperson Mongezi Ntsebenzo says the municipality must stop making promises it cannot keep.
The city is in serious financial trouble and it cannot afford the promises made to workers under the agreement.
At a media briefing yesterday, DA's mayoral candidate for Johannesburg, Helen Zille, says the letter is a troubling indictment on the city's current leadership.
In all my years in politics, I haven't read a letter quite so forthright and quite so blunt, with such devastating consequences if the actions stipulated in that letter are not taken.
If National Treasury does follow through with its threats to withhold grant funding, the Johannesburg municipality could potentially lose out on about 8 billion rand. Tabiso Koba, Eyewitness News.
And India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi says his country remains steadfast as ever in its determination to defeat terrorism and its enabling ecosystem, marking 1 year since a deadly clash with arch enemy Pakistan. Relations between nuclear-armed neighbours plummeted last year after an attack in Pahalgam in Indian-administered Kashmir killed 26 men, mostly Hindu tourists, leading to their worst conflict in decades. India blamed Pakistan for backing the attack, a charge Islamabad denied, triggering a tit-for-tat diplomatic measure and a sharp military escalation. The conflict escalated after India launched strikes on what it described as terrorist camps in Pakistan that prompted an immediate response from Islamabad, leading to airstrikes, drone swarms and heavy mortar fire between the 2 nuclear-armed neighbours. Gold is trading at $4,704.03 an ounce. The rand is at 16.39 to the dollar, 22.28 to the pound, 19.25 to the euro. Brent crude oil is at $102.17 a barrel.
And in the traffic, we've got delays on the M1 South. This is between the Buccleuch interchange and Marlborough Drive. There's also queuing traffic reported in the city of Tshwane along the N1 North between John Vorster Drive and the Flying Saucer interchange.
A partly cloudy day in store for Gauteng with isolated showers expected today. The temperatures will peak between 14 and 17 degrees. The top story in EWN this hour. Member of Parliament Fadil Adams is expected to appear in the Pinetown Magistrates Court in KwaZulu